Good afternoon. Welcome to the 25th USA Memory Championship. We have a couple of hundred people sign up for the virtual event every year, and we run a day where they compete. You're actually going to have the winner of this year's event will be on stage today. You're going to get to see him. And as we go through the virtual event, we take the top 12 people and we put them on stage. So you've got people today that have been sorted through a couple hundred interested in memory that have qualified to be in the top 12, and they get invited to compete here at Full Sail University, which has just been priceless for us in terms of the production and the men and women that work here today. And so Memory League and Lumosity help us to bring that about. They go through a series of games that they have to compete in, demonstrating their ability to be in front of an audience and wow an audience. And so that's how we get to these people here today. MIT gets involved. I got to meet one of the top professors in the country. These are studies I read about, and now I get to go to Cambridge, Massachusetts and meet some of the top neuroscientists that I read about, and they look at me and say, wow, what you've done is taken our science and put it to pragmatic use like we've never thought to do. Like remembering people's names is pragmatic use of memory? Like remembering things you read in a book that you're supposed to use for a test? Remembering numbers. People, you know what people do for remembering numbers this day? And I say, I got all my numbers in here, and I say, we're dumbing down people's education sometimes. What do we do to help people remember strings of numbers? And so we have a series of events that demonstrate the integration of our practical skills if we just knew what they were and how to develop them. And so what you'll see here today are 4 events. When we did this event in 2018 at MIT, the head of the science department says, the things you're doing seem to be more impactful to short-term memory, but I need you to put an event in there that demonstrates long-term. So we got to saying, okay, we're going to do long-term memory. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a database of information, and we're going to give the mental athletes 30 days to study that information. And then we're going to hit them with a bunch of questions and see how well they've been able to comprehend that information. That will be the first event you will see today. I'll talk more about that later. The second event you'll see is they get 15 minutes to remember a list of 300 words. And you take that skill and you can apply it to reading comprehension. So it's a secondary skill in terms of what we do here is remembering a list of words, and people say, well, what do I do with this? Well, do you read? Do you ever want to study things? Do you want to pass an exam? Do you want to write an essay? And so the second event is 300 words, and they have 15 minutes. The third event of the day has become probably the most popular, and we created it for HDNet television. I said earlier, it's the Tea Party. What you'll do is you'll get to watch videos of people, and you have to remember their name, their phone number, or their hobbies. So there's information you'll have to remember. And again, I'll explain more of these as we go through. And then we close out with what we call 2 decks of cards. You'll be sitting on stage, and we'll be down to 3 people by that point because it's a head-to-head throughout the day. And there'll be 3 people sitting down trying to remember 104 cards shuffled together in their sequence and their order. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the people that help me do this every day. And she just took off on me, but Karen Pinson runs this stuff, puts the games together, organizes this. The hours and days and weeks of time that she puts into this and organizing this has just been priceless. I could not do what we do and stand up here and talk to you if Karen, and here she comes walking back in here in terms of at least introducing her. And then the other half of my life is Evelyn Walker, who is sitting next to her and has given me the courage and sometimes says, is your head on straight? What are you doing? She keeps me grounded and then gets me to think about it and then puts me back and says, what do you need me to do to help you? And so the 2 ladies that you sit here in front of you, I wouldn't be doing this without the support I get from both of them. And they're both precious to me in my life. I think with that, let me make sure I got, and we got special guests today helping us in our green room that will be interviewing different people. It'll be John Graham. And John is a 3-time winner. Decided to have some family, which is taking him away from being a competitor. But he graciously is willing to interview our people today in a room behind the stage here and interview them and put that out on video. So at this point, I think if Seth and John are ready to go, we're going to recap the Memory Match Overdrive with the people that finished that. Excuse me. And then we're going to start bringing out our finalists. So what they've done is they've competed in a Lumosity game, which gives them the position in seating. And so what I've learned over the years is where you sit in these 12 seats is important to a strategy of how you survive the first event, which is now going to be long-term memory. So I think if we're good, John, Seth, ready to go.
All right, thank you, Tony, for that warm introduction. It is truly incredible that this event has now been taking place for over 25 years, and we are all grateful here for everything that you have done, Tony. And for introductions, I'm Seth Gourson. I'm here from Lumos Labs, the makers of Lumosity, and supporters of the first competition round here. And next to me is our lead commentator for the day, John Graham, three-time winner and apparently retired from the competition.
Yeah, I'll say I'm retired for now. Yeah.
Retired for now. That sounds a lot like what I heard from Nelson Dellis last year, and it seems like he's competing. So
we'll see. You never know. People ask me all the time. I've got 3 daughters now, and my big thing is I overcame anxiety, and I help people with that now. So I got a new life mission, but I'm excited to see what people have in store for us this year.
No doubt a very important message to be spreading about the importance of mental health. But now the competitors have just gone and back and kicked off the competition with Memory Match Overdrive. This is a, we'll see what this game looks like in just a moment, but this is a classic end-back game. Pretty straightforward working memory task, as pure as it gets, where competitors have to remember the 3 cards that they saw previously, and then determine whether or not the most recent card that they saw matches the card that they're looking at. So they'll be doing all of this on computers using the arrow keys simply to indicate yes or no. So they're now memorizing these first 3 cards and determining whether or not the last card in that series matches the one that's visible. And this is pretty different from a typical memory competition event. How do you approach training for something like this, John?
Yeah, I mean, the honest answer is I focus more on the long term, the strategy of the qualifying or the championship events. This is different because this involves more of a working memory, whereas memory athletes like the long-term memory, the strategies of memory palaces and linking and things like that. So this is more storing information in your mind very, very temporarily and going very quickly. So I'm excited to see how people do this.
That's right. You're moving fast, and not only are you encoding the information very quickly and recalling it very shortly after, but you have to keep updating it in this case, right? Because every time the card flips, now it's new information that's being stored in there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of speed involved. There's a lot of pattern recognition, I would imagine. I've played this event a few times. I'm not the best at it because it doesn't involve my top skill set. But my strategy was to just practice this just enough to get it kind of halfway in the pack, because this is a seeding event. So in this event, competitors are not eliminated. They're ranked based on score. If you have the top score, you get to pick your seat first for the very first event. So the typical strategy is to sit in the back. But
yeah, and I think we might get a glimpse of the room in which they're competing in a moment. But talk to me about the atmosphere back there and sort of the mental space that you're in during that moment where you're competing in the seeding round.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do really well. Typically, your mind is going to the events where you're going to be on stage. I mean, me personally, this event, what I really wanted to do was just kind of warm up, because when you're a competitor, you want to be in the mode of memorizing and the mode of creativity, because most of the events involve not just like left brain stuff, but right brain creativity. So this event was my chance to really lock in and tune up my creativity, tune in my focus, just get dialed in, because a lot of people are sitting back there. I mean, every competitor is extremely nervous, whether you've competed for years, like Nelson has, or you're a first-time competitor. You're very nervous, and you just want to get back in that flow to feel it come back, because there's a lot of feeling and intuition that's used in these events.
Yeah, indeed. there's probably a lot of jitters and anxiety, although it also looked like a lot of smiles, so people are still having a lot of fun here. And again, this is a very unique part of the competition. I think we also have just a little bit of footage from William Meyerson. He's another competitor who didn't quite make it to the finals this year, but is particularly exceptional at performing in this round. And so it is a very unique challenge, and you can see if we have that footage that how quickly the game can go. But you also mentioned that the importance of this round is seeding for the successive events. So how do you think about that? You obviously we're talking about the order in which people go for their recall in the series of events that they have to compete in. What's your strategy there in terms of your seeding?
Well, since people are eliminated in the championship, you don't want to get eliminated, right? So the less opportunities you have to answer a question, the better. So the strategy is to sit as far back or be the last person in that round before they wrap around to the first chair. So typically I sit as far back from the first chair as possible. Just, it's a mathematical strategy, and I think everyone sort of adopts that too nowadays.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, and here we're seeing that footage sent to us from William Meyerson. Again, not quite making the cut for the finals this year, but a very impressive performance in Memory Match Overdrive. You can see just how quickly he's responding to these inputs, getting a lot of check marks there. So he's getting very high accuracy paired with very high speed. The score in this game is a composite of the two. So he's pretty much nailing it on both fronts there.
Yeah, this is very atypical. This is elite and faster than I can comprehend, to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, with that, I can only hope that some of our competitors today will come close to that high-level performance. And I'm going to send it back to Tony in a moment to introduce the competitors, and we'll see what seeding they all selected.
Yeah, excited to watch this. Let's go.
Cool.
And we are ready to have them come out in the order that they finished in the games, and will be very interesting to see where they choose to sit. Now, let me tell you, seat number 1 is up your top left, comes down to number 6. We go back to number 7. And number 12, they love me, they'll sit here. So with that, Samay, would you please come out and select your seat? Looking for Samay to show up. And Samay, as you pick your seat up and sit your seat, pick your microphone up, would you tell, look at this, he wants to sit next to me. Can you believe this? Can you tell us why you've wanted to enter the USA Memory Championship?
Yeah, of course. I've been in elementary school, I started memorizing pi, and then I took a break from that for a few years. And in, I think, 8th grade, I did the online memory championship, and I've enjoyed that, so I've been competing ever since.
Where's home?
Lexington, near Boston.
Got it. All right. Can we get Jason? Jason came in second in the game. Jason, can you come on out? Jason's been here a few times. Okay. And why do you want to be in this guy? You've been in it several times, so tell us about why you want to keep coming back.
I enjoy seeing everybody every year and just pushing myself every year to see if I can improve and work on my memory and do the best I can.
Where's home?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Erdem is third in our comeback. Erdem was the winner of our virtual event this year. He came in tops. So this is the person I said you'll meet the top person from this year's virtual qualifying event. And he's coming out right now. You'll get to meet the top person, I think. Erdem. I'm looking for Erdem. Please, Erdem, would you please show up? There we go. Erdem, why did you want to enter the memory competition, and where is home?
I became interested in the memory competition after I saw my mom reading Moonwalking with Einstein.
Okay, you talked about that before.
It kind of snowballed from there, and I never really had a mentor or anything, or a true teacher of sorts. So I kind of just went with what I saw in books and online to make it all the way to the memory competition.
All right.
And I'm from DC in Virginia.
And I understand you're a National Spelling Bee winner of some sort. Would you tell us about that?
I've had some success in the spelling bee department. Well, I think memory was kind of interesting because I could use it to help with memorizing words when it comes to spelling bees.
All right.
It's not really helpful, but it definitely helps a little bit.
Got it. Welcome. Welcome. All right. Why did my phone go out on me here? After Erdem, we have a 5-time memory champion. Nelson Dellis is on his way somewhere. It'd be interesting to see where Nelson wants to sit. Five-time champion. Whoa. And why did you want to come back for the 6th go at this?
I debated it for a while, but it felt like the right time to compete again. I missed it, and I just turned 40, so it feels like a good time to test if I still have what it takes to compete with these guys.
And where's home for you?
Upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to Patricia. Can we get Patricia up here? And Patricia, you want to tell us why you entered the memory competition and where is home?
Yeah, so home for me is in Texas. I decided to just enter the competition after 11 years straight of being too lazy to. So we're getting started now.
Wow, welcome.
Thank you.
Ian, can we get you up here, Ian? Ian came in 6th in the Match Overdrive. And can you tell us why you decided to enter the competition and where is home?
I started doing memory around 6th grade, doing stuff like memorizing pi. So I thought it'd be cool to just enter this competition.
And home?
What?
Where's home?
New York City.
New York City. Gotcha. And let's go to Matt. We get Matt up here. Now that we have filled in our bottom row, now we got to fill in the top row. Matt, tell us why you want to be here and where's home?
I'm coming from Richmond, Virginia. Last year I said I wasn't sure why I was here. It's always very difficult and stressful, and I'm still not sure.
But to me, you're a winner for the fact that you come here and do this. Amanda, maybe we get Amanda to come out next. And tell us why you want to be here today and where's home for you.
So I
Amanda.
I come from New York City, and I've been practicing memory techniques for around 4 to 5 years, so I really wanted an opportunity to showcase what I have learned over the years, and I also wanted to compete with others to see how I could grow and improve.
Gotcha. Thank you. Annabella. Annabella. What got you to come here?
Well, I've been practicing for about 2 years, and this year I was finally old enough to compete in this competition, so I'm really excited to see how far I can get.
Wonderful. And home for you is?
Oh, I live in New York.
Did we bring New York here? We could have got. All right, we go Avi Chavda. And what's got you coming back and joining us, and where's home?
Home is Dallas. I last competed in 2018, and when I was asked this question, I said it was on my bucket list to win the memory championship, and I was told at that time I was too young to have a bucket list. So 6 years later, I'm hoping I'm qualified.
All right, welcome. And Makenna, can we get Makenna to come out?
Hi, my name is Makenna. I was a biology graduate from Virginia Wesleyan University, and I now work at the zoo and PetSmart, and I run an aquatic snail food business. And I started memory because I was really into it when I was little. I started memorizing pi when I was about 10, and then I ended up seeing a TV show with John Graham on it, and I decided there's actually techniques that I could do for this, and I've just been practicing ever since and improving.
I think she won our virtual a few years ago, right? She's
Yes,
one of
I
our
did.
virtual winners. Yeah, welcome. Good to have you back here. And Briley, I don't think you get much to worry about choosing from, Briley, but come on back out here.
Hey everyone, my name's Briley Lewis. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, but I'm currently living in the Dominican Republic as a Peace Corps volunteer. I heard about memory a few years ago through Nelson and John's videos, but this year I thought I would try the strategies for myself. So here I am. Thank you.
Now, may I ask my audience here, do any of these people look like nerds that just want to sit in a room and study? Congratulations to all of you for being our grand finalists. All right, with that, we're going to give them 10 minutes of a break if they want to get up and stretch, and then we're going to begin our first event of the day, long-term memory. So we've got a 10-minute break if you want to get up and stretch and walk around, or just sit here for 10 minutes and ready to go.
Hey, my name's Briley Lewis. I'm from Wichita, Kansas originally, but I'm living in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic right now, and I'm here to compete in the USA Memory Championship. This is my first time here. I've watched Nelson's videos for years, but this is the first time I thought I'd try and compete for myself. Nervous, super nervous, but we'll see how it goes.
Hi, my name is Nelson Dellis. I'm a 5-time USA Memory Champion, hoping to compete for my 6th. I'm from Miami, Florida, but I live in upstate New York now. And I've been competing in memory competitions for, good God, since 2009. That was my first competition. So excited to be back here. I took a little break and throw myself back in the ring, maybe for one last time. So excited.
I'm Ian, and I'm from New York City. I started memory, my mom signed me up for a memory class in 5th or 6th grade. Originally it was just kind of for fun, doing stuff like memorizing numbers of pi, but now we're doing this. I'm very nervous, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I've been here one time, did absolutely awful, but hopefully this time goes better.
I'm Matthew. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Coming back for, I guess it's my 6th year. So a little bit calmer this year than last year, then hoping that'll help me do better.
Hi, my name is Patricia Lee, and I am here from Texas. Yeah, so I actually knew about this for about a decade now, because when I was younger, my teachers used to tell me that I should probably compete in something like this. And so what ended up happening, though, once I came of age, I kind of just made excuses every single year as to not. I really was just very lazy, but I finally got into it this summer. And even as unprepared as I felt every year, even with this being the busiest year of my life, I was kind of just I think I just need to start at some point, and I don't have to aim to win necessarily, and so I decided to just finally start.
My name is Annabella, and I'm from New York. I just really wanted to find ways to help improve my ability to focus, and I just really want to challenge myself and see how far I can get. Yeah, this is my first competition, so I'm pretty nervous, but I'm also excited.
Jason Smith, West Virginia. Here for the memory competition, feeling good, trying to do better than I did last year. This would be my 3rd final.
Hi, I'm Erdem, and I'm from DC in Virginia. So I'm here because I wanted to come back after competing last year. I first started when I saw my mom reading Moonwalking with Einstein, and I kind of stole away from the book from her. And I was really interested in it, and I was just waiting until I was old enough to compete. And I started last year, I made it to the finals, and I'm coming back this year to see if I can do better.
My name is Amanda Zheng, and I'm from New York City. I've been practicing for around 4 to 5 years, so I wanted an opportunity to be able to compete, to show off my skills. So I'm here because I wanted to also improve, to see how others compete so I can improve my own skills. I'm feeling Very nervous, definitely, but I'm also very excited and happy that I have an opportunity to be here.
My name is Makenna Good, and I'm from Richmond, Virginia. I started when I was about 10, and I started memorizing pi just for fun with no techniques. And then I saw John Graham on a TV show and decided that I could try the techniques out. And ever since then, I've been just working hard to get better at the actual techniques. And I already have like a natural talent, so that helps into it. I'm also the 2020 virtual competition winner from during COVID, so there's that. I feel really good. I prepared extensively for long term. I just want to get past the first round. That's all I'm hoping for.
I'm Samay, and I'm from Boston. I started with the online competition in 2020. I got like 50th, which is not great, but then I competed the years after, and I've been a finalist for 4 years. I feel all right. I'm not too confident in the long term. I haven't had much time to memorize all of it, but I feel pretty good about the other events.
I'm Avi Chavda. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I first competed in 2018, which was the competition which I think introduced the long-term memory event, and it was held at MIT. I placed second at that competition. And then life, medical training, a couple of moves got in the way. This is my first time back in about 6 years, and it's been a fun run so far. It's exciting to see some old faces that I've known pretty well and some new faces, and to be able to put your mind up against some of the best around. It's very fun and inspiring every time.
Okay, we are ready for our first event of the day. And let me just say how this event came to be. In 2018, we ran our memory competition up at MIT at Cambridge University. MIT University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And the head of the science department, in going through what our agenda was, said you need to put something in your competition that demonstrates long-term memory as well as short-term memory. And so the birth of long-term memory. When we first did this, the very first year, it was just extraordinary. We had about 450 people in the auditorium at Cambridge, the Kresge Auditorium. And we gave the mental athletes 3,500 pieces of information they needed to remember. Periodic tables, Sports Hall of Fame, Rock Hall of Fame, and we just about exhausted them. And they were just amazing at what they did, and it totally, the head of the science department was just blown away by what they were able to do. But we also blew away people in their life in terms of studying that much information. And so we do this event every year, and each year we get feedback from the mental athletes, and we cut back on the amount of data because they do have a life other than just prepping for the memory. So this year we dropped it down. We went to just one category, and we've dropped the data bits down, but now we're going to ask them questions about those data bits, and we're going to mix those questions up. So we have 4 levels of questions. The first ones are just basically, here's a simple piece of information we want you to bring back. We'll do that for 2 rounds. Then we'll go into a second round, which we now start to raise the complexity of their comprehension. And if we get to a third round, then these folks are going to blow us all away with their ability to retain and recall. And if we get to a 4th round, get their autograph. And so that's where we're at. And at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Karen and Evelyn because we will be keeping score. Now, you'll describe the rules and what they're doing, how many strikes. Got it.
Okay, well, welcome to our 12 finalists sitting here. As you remember, long-term memory, you guys were given information on 63 national parks 4 weeks ago. So the questions will be all driven from those. You will have 3 strikes to be eliminated, meaning 2 strikes, you're still sitting up on the stage. At the 3rd strike, we wish you well and ask you if you would kindly exit the stage. You will have 15 seconds to begin your recall of the information I am asking you for. In front of you, you will see there's a countdown clock. It does not mean you need to be completed by 15 seconds. You just need to start answering for me. If for whatever reason you do not hear my question or you cannot read them on the screens, please ask me to repeat. Once the question has been delivered and it's okay and it's accepted, then the 15-second countdown begins as well. In the event that an athlete gets a strike or a missed answer, the next athlete will get a new question. So questions are not recycled whatsoever. Any questions from my athletes? Okay, so Briley, you're sitting up there. You be the first one for round one, level one, to begin to say, what year was Black Canyon of the Gunnison in Colorado established?
1999.
And that is correct.
And we are off and running with our first question. And congratulations, Briley. We're off and going. Thanks for getting us started.
The next question, what year was Crater Lake in Oregon established?
1902.
Correct.
And that is correct. Okay, so Avi, next question to you is, what year was Mount Rainier in Washington established?
1899.
And that is correct. Next, we're moving over to Amanda. What year was Cuyahoga Valley in Ohio established?
I have a question. I think you skipped Annabella.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Annabella. My mistake. Yes, my mistake. Okay, so let's repeat that again. What year was Cuyahoga Valley in Ohio established?
2000.
And that is correct. Okay, Amanda. What year was Hot Springs in Arkansas established?
1921.
And that is correct. Okay, Matt, we're over to you. What year was Glacier Bay in Alaska established?
1980.
And that is correct. Ian, down to you. What year was Zion in Utah established?
1919.
That is correct. Patricia, what year was Grand Teton in Wyoming established?
1929.
And that is correct. Erdem, what year was Kings Canyon in California established?
1940.
That is correct. Nelson, what year was Badlands in South Dakota established?
1978.
That is correct. Jason, what year was Theodore Roosevelt in North Dakota established?
1978.
That is correct. And finally, Samay, what year was Lassen Volcanic in California established?
1916.
And that is correct.
First round, congratulations. Well done. We go to round two, level one yet. We're going to stay at level one for one more round.
Yes, we will. And we're back to you, Briley. Which national park in Alaska was established in 1917?
Denali.
That is correct. Makenna, which national park in California was established in 1968?
Redwood.
That is correct. Avi, what national park in New Mexico was established in 1930?
Carlsbad Caverns.
Correct. Annabella, which national park in Washington was established in 1938?
Olympic.
Olympic is correct. Amanda, which national park in Michigan was established in 1940?
Isle Royale.
That is correct. Matt, which national park in Arizona was established in 1994?
Grand Canyon.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It was Saguaro, excuse me.
There's our first X.
Coming down to Ian,
Yep.
which national park in Florida was established in 1992?
Dry Tortugas.
Dried tortugas is correct. Patricia, which national park in Nevada was established in 1986?
Great Basin.
Great Basin is correct. Erdem, which national park in Utah was established in 1971?
Capitol Reef.
That is correct. Which national park in Virginia was established in 1935?
Shenandoah.
That is correct. Jason, which national park in Wyoming was established in 1872?
Yellowstone.
That is correct. Samay, which national park in Colorado was established in 1906?
Mesa Verde.
That is correct.
All right, through 2 rounds, we have Matt with 1 X. Matt has 2 more opportunities, but congratulations getting through the second round of questions. We will now increase the difficulty of them a little bit, and we'll have 2 pieces of information you'll need to recall. Great work. Excellent, excellent job.
Thank you again for bearing with me on that, guys. Hopefully that will be the only blip. Okay, now we're moving on to level 2, round 1 questions. Briley, the first is to you. Katmai National Park was established in 1980. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in Alaska, and the square mileage is 6,395 square miles.
Wow.
And that is correct.
Great job.
Makenna, we're moving over to you. Petrified Forest National Park was established in 1962. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in Arizona, and it is 230 square miles.
That is correct. Great job.
Wow.
Avi, we're moving to you. Grand Canyon National Park was established in 1919. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in Arizona, and it's 1,902 square miles.
Excellent job. We're now moving over to Annabella. Biscayne National Park was established in 1980. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's in Florida, and it's 270 miles.
Excellent job. We are now to Amanda. Indiana Dunes National Park was established in 2019. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in Indiana, and it's 24 square miles.
That is correct. Next question over to Matt. Glacier National Park was established in 1910. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
Glacier is in Montana, and the square miles are 1,583.
That is correct.
Wow.
We're coming down now to Ian. Wind Cave National Park was established in 1903. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in South Dakota, and it's 53 square miles.
That is correct. Patricia. Bryce Canyon National Park was established in 1928. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
Utah, 56 square miles.
That is correct. Erdem. Guadalupe Mountains National Park was established in 1972. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's in Texas, 135 square miles.
That is correct. Nelson. Joshua Tree National Park was established in 1994. Where is it located and how many square miles?
It is in California, and the square mileage is 1235.
That is correct. Excellent job. Jason, Rocky Mountain National Park was established in 1915. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
Colorado 598.
That is correct. And Samay? Kobuk Valley National Park was established in 1980. Where is it located and how many square miles is it?
It's located in Alaska and is 4402 square miles.
That is absolutely correct.
That is the third round. Let's give them a round of applause here. As you've noticed here, they're now getting 2 bits of data that they've got to recall, and one of the toughest things are the numbers. And so they've done a superb job in this, and we're going to go one more round to level 2, and then we're going to up the difficulty again.
That is correct. Okay, so from level 2, round 2 questions, we're back to you, Briley. What national park in Alaska is 1,047 square miles, and when was it established?
The national park is Kenai Fords, and it was established in 1980.
That is correct. Makenna, over to you. What national park in California is 390 square miles, and when was it established?
It's Channel Islands, and it was established in 1980.
That is correct. Avi, what national park in California is 631 square miles, and when was it established?
Sequoia, 1890.
That is correct. Annabella, what national park in Hawaii is 505 square miles, and when was it established?
Hawaii volcanoes in 1916.
That is correct. We are now over to Amanda. What national park in Minnesota is 341 square miles, and when was it established?
Voyagers in 1975.
That is correct. Matt, what national park in Missouri is 0.15 square miles, and when was it established?
Gateway Arch, 2018.
That is correct. Ian, what national park in New Mexico is 228 square miles, and when was it established?
Great Sand Dunes.
Okay, your time is up. That would have actually have been White Sands in 2019. So that would be a strike for
All
Ian.
right, first strike for him.
Yes. Next over to Patricia. What national park in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands is 23 square miles, and when was it established?
Virgin Islands, 1956.
That is correct. Erdem, what national park in Utah is 378 square miles, and when was it established?
Capitol Reef, 1971.
That is correct. Nelson, what national park in Washington is 1,070 square miles, and when was it established?
That would be North Cascades, and it was established in 1968.
That is correct. Jason, what national park in West Virginia is 53 square miles, and when was it established?
New River Gorge 2021.
Excellent. Hometown for you.
Oh, God. I gotta say, he snapped that out so darn fast. It's like, wait a minute.
Well, if you notice, some of us smiled because we knew where home was. Okay, and Samay, to end the round, What national park in Texas is 1,252 square miles, and when was it established?
Big Bend, established in 1944.
That is correct.
Wow. This is too. Wow. All right, team, you are just blowing this away.
Tony, we have never made it this far
No, we have
with
not.
no one eliminated, much
Congratulations.
less one strike.
Congratulations. Wow. Well, we are level 3, and we're up in the difficulty. As I said to Karen doing this with the qualifying mental athletes, I said, hey, if they all get through 4 rounds, historical. Never seen this happen before. We're already into historical grounds right now with the level 3.
Absolutely.
Let's
So
see
here
where
we go.
Anybody
Briley?
in the audience want to jump in on these questions? Please, keep them to yourself, but just whisper. I knew that answer. Go ahead.
Okay, so Briley, first question over to you. What national park in Maine, established in 1919, had 3,970,260 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
The national park is Acadia, 77 square miles, and dolphins, seals, and whales call it home.
That is absolutely correct. Well done.
That is done. That is excellent, Bradley.
Makenna, over to you. What national park in Kentucky, established in 1941, had 663,147 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
It's Mammoth Cave. How many square miles? It's 83 square miles, and it's home to reptiles, mussels, and pygmy shrews.
That is absolutely spot on correct. Great job.
So let's make sure the audience knows what they're now doing. So they're now mixing a series of different conversations. First of all, how many square miles is it? And then what are the animals or the things that they find in this park as the most interested? And what's the first part, Karen?
The first part is the name of the park.
Name of the park. Okay, Mammoth Cave. I wasn't recognizing. Got it. So now they've got 3 pieces of data they have to give back to us.
Okay, Avi, to you. What national park in Colorado, established in 1999, had 297,257 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Black Canyon of the Gunnison, 47 square miles, home to coyote, mule deer, and beaver.
Excellent job. We're now moving over to Annabella. What national park in Minnesota, established in 1975, had 221,434 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Voyager, and it's 341 square miles, and it has bald eagles, moose, and black bear.
I'm sorry, you were close. It is Voyager's 341 square miles with gray wolves, moose, and bald eagles.
All right,
That
so
would be her first strike.
First X.
Okay, Amanda, to you. What national park in Alaska, established in 1980, had 9,457 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Gates of the Arctic, 13,238, and muskox, wolverine, and Dall sheep.
That is all correct. Matt? What national park in American Samoa, established in 1988, had 1,887 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
National Park of American Samoa. It is 16 square miles, It is home to lizards, snakes, wild cattle.
Excellent job. Ian, down to you. What national park in California, established in 1940, had 540,986 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Kings Canyon, 722 square miles, and mule deer, squirrels, and pika.
That is correct. Patricia, to you. What national park in Michigan, established in 1940, had 25,454 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Isle Royale, 893 square miles. Beaver, moose, and snowshoe hare.
That is absolutely correct. Great job. Erdem, what national park in South Dakota, established in 1903, had 607,418 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
This is Wind Cave, 53 square miles, cougars, bison, and elk.
That is correct. Nelson, what national park in California and Nevada, established in 1994, had 1,128,862 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
This would be Death Valley. The square mileage would be 52. And the animals are bobcat, badger, and kangaroo rats.
Nelson, unfortunately, you missed the miles. It's 5262. So that would be Nelson's first strike.
All right.
Next, we're moving over to Jason. What national park in Arkansas, established in 1921, had 2,646,133 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
Hot Springs, 8 square miles. Cottontail rabbit, white-tailed deer, gray fox.
That is correct. And Samay, what national park in Florida, established in 1980, had 701,023 visitors? How many square miles is it, and what calls it home?
It's Biscayne, 270 square miles, and I'm not sure about the animals.
Okay, so that would be a strike then. What calls it home would be manatee, peregrine falcon, and dolphins. So Tony, that would be the end of the first round, level 3.
We now have 5 people with an X on us. Let me see if I can read that. Annabella has an X. Matt has an X. Ian has an X. Nelson has an X. And Samay has an X. That's through 3 rounds. This is absolutely incredible. Any of you want to take a coaching for a Jeopardy show, these would be the people you'd want to take with you. We're going to go to the second round of level 3. So this is new territory for us, so off we go.
Yes, it is. Okay, Briley, first question to you. What national park in Alaska is 6,297 square miles and is home to catfish, largemouth bass, and sockeye salmon? When was it established, and how many visitors?
The national park is Lake Clark, established in 1980, 18,187 visitors.
Well done.
Wow.
Makenna, that is fantastic. Makenna, on to you. What national park in Alaska is 20,000 square miles and home to wolverine, beaver, and otter? When was it established and how many visitors?
Wrangell St. Elias, 1980, and 65236.
That is correct. Great job. Avi, we're moving to you. What national park in Arizona is 143 square miles and is home to antelope, javelina, and coyote? When was it established and how many visitors?
Saguaro, established in 1994. 908194 visitors.
Excellent job, Avi. We're moving over to Annabella. What national park in California is 166 square miles and home to martens, mule deer, and black bear? When was it established and how many visitors?
Lassen Volcanic in 1916. It has 446291.
That is correct. Great job. Amanda. What national park in Florida is 1/4 square miles and home to tarpon, sea turtles, and stingray? When was it established and how many visitors?
Dry Tortugas in 1992 with 78488 visitors.
That is correct. Matt? What national park in Texas is 1,252 square miles and is home to mountain lion, coyote, and javelina? When was it established and how many visitors?
Big Bend, 1944, visitors 514107.
Excellent job, Matt. We are down to you, Ian. What national park in Montana is 1,583 square miles and home to moose, wolverine, and bear?
Beaver.
Beaver. When was it established and how many visitors?
Glacier, 1910, and visitors to 2646133.
Almost, Ian, you got there. It is Glacier. It was 1910, but it was 2,908,458. So that would be Ian's second strike.
I don't think the clock is working.
Say again?
I don't think the clock is working.
The clock?
Did the clock not move?
No.
So next we're going to Patricia. What national park in North Carolina and Tennessee is 800 square miles and home to coyote, deer, and bobcat? When was it established and how many visitors?
Great Smoky Mountains, 1934, 12937633.
Fantastic. Erdem. What national park in North Dakota is 100 square miles and home to bison, elk, and prairie dog? When was it established and how many visitors?
Theodore Roosevelt, 1978. Six 8679. I was just wondering if I could run to the bathroom real quick.
Great job. Do you guys mind holding for 1 second? Makenna, you have a question?
I think it's supposed to be 110 square miles.
Yeah, it's 110.
110.
110. He didn't get it wrong. It's just that was wrong.
Oh, well. Can we break for Erdem? I did. Erdem asked if he could restroom.
Oh, restroom break here? Let's just finish this up and then we'll let him do it.
Okay, we can do that?
Yeah, we've never done this long. This is amazing.
Gotcha.
Let's just finish the round here and then we'll do it.
Nelson, what national park in Oregon is 286 square miles and home to mule deer, elk, and mountain lion? When was it established and how many visitors?
This is Crater Lake. It was established in 1902, and the number of visitors is 527,259.
That is absolutely correct. Great job. Jason, over to you. What national park in Utah is 527 square miles and home to squirrels, rabbit, and porcupine? When was it established and how many visitors?
Canyonlands, established 1964, 779,147.
Great job. And Samay. What national park in Wyoming is 37 square miles and home to elk, bison, and black bear? When was it established and how many visitors?
Grand Teton, 1929, and 2,200,000.
It would be 2,806,223. So that would be a second strike for Samay.
Samay, all right.
Here we go. You are the very first historical, the very first active competition level 4 question.
Pressure's on.
What 4 parks were established before 1900 and where are they located?
Yellowstone in Wyoming, Sequoia in California, Yosemite in California, Mount Rainier in Washington.
You made that look easy. Great job.
What the hell are you doing? Unbelievable. Outstanding.
Quizlet.
Okay, Makenna, to you. What 2 national parks were established in 2019 and what are their sizes?
Indiana Dunes, size for that is 2 to 9 square miles. And then the other one is White Sands, and it's 2 to 8 square miles.
Unfortunately, Makenna, you missed Indiana Dunes is only 24 square miles. So that would be Makenna's first strike.
Okay.
Moving to Avi. There were 3 national parks established in 1980.
You said 3. There's 9.
I'm sorry, there were 9 national parks established in 1980. Name 5.
Gates of the Arctic, Kobuk Valley, Lake Clark, Wrangell St. Elias, Kenai Fjords.
That is correct. There are the list of all the parks that were established in 1980. Annabella, what are the oldest and youngest national parks and what years were they established?
Hot Springs in 2021 and Yellowstone in 1872.
New River Gorge in 2021.
That is an X.
And Yellowstone in 1872.
That is an X. Is that her second?
Yes, that would be her second.
Second X, okay.
Okay, Amanda, what national parks are larger than 10,000 square miles and where are they located?
Wrangell St. Elias in Alaska. Gates of the Arctic in Alaska.
And that is correct.
Oh, God. I don't know how they do this. This is amazing.
Matt, next question to you. What 4 national parks had less than 25,000 visitors?
National Park of American Samoa and Gates of the Arctic, Kobuk Valley, and Lake Clark.
Excellent work, Matt. Great job.
Just a quick pause. Audience, recognize that they've got to go through all of the data bits that they've had to study, and they've got to answer questions that are integrating that data. So their brains are quickly going through a ton of information to answer these questions. This is truly amazing.
Okay, Ian, we're down to you. List the top 3 most visited national parks, starting with the most visited.
Great Smoky Mountains. Like Yellowstone.
Time would be up at this point, and that, unfortunately, Ian, is incorrect. It would be Great Smoky Mountains, Grand Canyon, and Zion. That was Ian's third strike.
Ian, that's your third strike. You're eliminated from the competition. You may leave. Congratulations, Ian.
Patricia, the next question to you. At what national parks might you see grizzly bear?
Denali and Katmai.
That was quick and very correct. Great job.
How did you do that so fast? It was like, whoa, good job.
Erdem, at what national parks may you see wolverine?
Gates of the Arctic, Kobuk Valley, Wrangell St. Elias, and Glacier. Yeah, I think that's all far.
You missed one, Sequoia.
That's his
But
first
that
X.
was amazing.
Amazing. Great job.
Absolutely
These are
amazing
not
to
easy
get through that
questions,
many.
team.
Not at all.
First X for Erdem.
Okay, Nelson, to you. At what national parks might you see black bear?
Let's see. At Olympic. Yellowstone. Great Sand Dunes. I'm sure there's another or two, but.
Okay, that would be time. They are not at Yellowstone.
Oh, shit.
Great Sand Dunes, Capitol Reef, Shenandoah, Olympic, Grand Teton, Lassen Volcanic, and Redwood.
That is Nelson's second X.
Over to Jason. At what national parks might you see moose?
Glacier, Isle Royale. Let's see. Glacier, Isle Royale, Voyagers.
I will have to call time now. Yellowstone, North Cascades, Glacier, Isle Royale, Voyagers, and Rocky Mountain. It's a tough question. Samay.
Jason's first X.
That is Jason's first X. Samay, to you. At what national parks might you see porcupine?
Isle Royale.
That is incorrect. They are not actually at Isle Royale. They are Bryce Canyon, Arches, Guadalupe Mountains, Great Basin, Kobuk Valley, and Canyonlands.
And that is Samay's third X.
That is Samay's third strike.
Congratulations to getting to the fourth round, Samay.
Guys, it is amazing to get to level 4 before we see our first elimination.
Yeah, it really is.
That truly is.
Never happened before.
Onward and forward, we're back to you, Bryce.
This is our last round, correct, Karen?
Yes, it is.
This is it.
Or,
You
yes,
survived
we are,
this
Briley.
round, you're in.
Yes, okay. So, Briley, what state has exactly 4 national parks, and what are they?
The state is Colorado. It has Rocky Mountain, Mesa Verde, Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and Great Sand Dunes.
Excellent job.
Don. Well, you're in the next round, that's for sure. Wow.
Okay, Makenna, over to you. What 3 parks were established in 1994?
Saguaro, Death Valley, and Joshua Tree.
Excellent. Great job.
You're into the next round.
Go ahead, applaud them each and every time. Okay, Avi, to you. Alaska is home to 8 national parks. What are the most and least visited, and how many guests?
Denali is the most visited with I don't remember.
That's perfectly okay. Your first strike, Avi?
First strike.
So your most visited would be Glacier Bay with 545,758 visitors, and your least, Gates of the Arctic with 9,457.
That's the wrong.
You put, that was Avi. Put the strike in the wrong place. Race prize. Now that's going to matter at this point. They're in anyway, but
Okay.
he's perfect.
We're over to Annabella. Washington is home to 3 national parks. What are they, and when were they established?
Olympic in 1938, North Cascades in 1968, and 1999.
Okay, that would be time. Unfortunately, you had the wrong year. North Cascades in 1968, Olympic in 1938, and Mount Rainier in 1899. And Annabella, that would be her third
That's
strike.
our third strike, and that's our third person. We can stop right now.
Briley, Amanda,
Please
and
stand.
Patricia. All stand, please.
The
You
three of you
3
stand.
made it through
Patricia,
all
please
4
stand.
rounds with no strikes.
Congratulations to the 3 of you. My goodness. Great job. And you now have a 15-minute break. And you can get up and stretch.
Exactly.
And you're coming
We
back
are
to
on
the-
break reset time. You know what, Briley?
So I'm here with Samay. Samay is this is your 5th year
Yeah.
competing? So experienced vet. So just for context, this long-term event, this is the longest it's ever gone. Level 4 is what they got to. They got through basically all the questions. They significantly chopped the amount of information from past years, making it sort of more difficult because it was more condensed and everyone had more, it was easier to study, so to speak. But the questions are actually tricky the way they word it. I want to know your take on Can you kind of walk us through this year's event for you? What happened?
Yeah, of course. So I only had time to memorize the state, the square mileage, and the year for the parks. So that kind of left me stuck on the animals ones and the visitors ones. So I was hoping to just get lucky.
Okay.
And help people get out, or I get only in the fourth round I get questions on the parks and their years or parks in their square mileage or something.
Because in years past, last year, for example, I only had 2 questions, so it was a quicker elimination. So you were kind of banking on years past results.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you only studied basically the first 4 columns, and there were 7 columns? 6 or 7?
I think 6.
Okay. So your strategy was to go for the earlier levels and ace those, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you a student? Is that sort of what hampered your?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
senior year of high school.
Senior year of high school. So imagine he's a senior, he just started school, and now he's given a spreadsheet with hundreds of data bits and all these numbers that you guys saw. So Samay, really impressed with your first event, Lumosity. You nailed it. Just was watching you. It was incredibly fast. So you're just a really impressive competitor. Are we going to see you again next year?
I think so, but I'm just starting college next year, so who knows?
Okay. Well, let's hope to see Samay, and I'm looking forward to seeing this competition continue. Good start so far.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
We're going to turn this over to Robert Ajemian. He's been one of my favorite people from MIT, who has been a supporter of us for 20 years and really understands what we're doing with these folks. So, Robert, take it over.
All right, so you're seeing some pretty impressive things there. And the 2 things you're probably wondering is, one, is there something different about these people? I could never do anything like that. And the second idea is going to be, why would I even bother to try? What would be the point of learning memory techniques in an era when everything is digitized and everyone has smartphones? And those are 2 good questions. But the fact of the matter is they're both misconceptions. They're both incorrect. There is nothing different about these people. They've arrived at their skills through practice. There are very few, in fact, in history, recorded examples of savants like the people, like the person you see in the Rain Man movie or other such Hollywood dramatizations. Very, very few, fewer than 100 recorded instances in history. But there are many people who can do these incredible memory feats throughout the world. And what they're obviously doing is relying on some sort of skill, training. I think Michael Dottino may talk to you there about some of the specifics of the training, the method of loci, etc. So there is definitely nothing that's intrinsically innate that you're seeing there today. Anyone could do that. And we do think there are benefits to doing it, particularly for people at the school level, maybe, 10th grade or earlier, and of course for maybe the elderly in the helps of warding off dementia, et cetera, improving memory at that stage of life. Okay. So why should anyone bother to try? What are these benefits? Well, the main benefit is that there's this really, really fundamental associative learning skill that mnemonic training highlights. Because all of these skills are based on the fact that you have old information, and to that old information, you attach new information. Your old information is basically a scaffold for your new information. And this is how human learning works and human memory works. And surprisingly, this is really, really misunderstood, even by scientists and educators. And the reason why is because how memory works in humans is really quite counterintuitive. I have a figure here, which you can't see, so you'll just have to imagine it. But the way memory works in computers, of course, is that memory is instruction addressable. You store the memory somewhere, and then there's an instruction that points to this memory. And when you want that piece of information, you go get that piece of information. That's fine. But biologic memory, all biological memory, is content addressable or associative. What does that mean? What does content addressable memory mean? It means that everything is related to everything, and information is stored not in any kind of absolute value, like some bits in a register, but it's stored as relations of these graded representations throughout your brain in response to the entirety of the stimuli that you're encountering over the course of your life. That's a very different system, and that corresponds to the architecture and anatomy of the brain, which is not in any way a serial processor, but it's very parallel processing. Again, everything is linked to everything. Every neuron can reach any other neuron in a small number of synapses. That's called the small world architecture. Some neurons are connected to 10,000 other neurons. Some are even connected to up to 1 million neurons. So it's just a different system. And this system can be put to use if you understand how it works and then why this training will work. And again, I think the key concept is scaffolding. And this will be a little different because I know I've done this presentation a lot, and I'm sure Tony and everyone's getting bored of it. So I'll focus a little bit on the scaffolding process, which is a little bit different than I focused on previously. So a baby is born and doesn't really know anything, and it takes a while to learn stuff. But there's this phenomena that happens, and it also happens in adulthood in various domains of expertise, is after a certain critical mass of knowledge or information, it's easier to put in more information. Why? Because you kind of learned or explored this particular domain to some extent. You have all these markers to it. Now, if you want to attach new information related to it, you've got all these different scaffoldings to do so. And so I'm not an expert on this literature in babies, but apparently, like, this is how languages are learned. Like, all of a sudden, you see this dramatic increase in their ability to remember vocabulary words. You see this a lot in domain expertise, that where experts make sudden jumps along the way when they're learning something, where all of a sudden things click, everything falls into place. And again, the whole point of that is we're terrible acontextual learners. We can't learn anything well if we don't know something related to it. It makes it very difficult. This is why, for example, names are difficult to remember, because it's not as if somebody looks like a Tony or whatever, right? It's a very arbitrary association. It's hard to learn languages, new languages at the beginning, because again, you don't have any frame of reference. So what are the things that humans almost automatically become very, very good at all the time? And when I explain these 4 areas of knowledge to you, I think you'll be able to see for yourselves how this connects to mnemonic techniques. One, of course, is space. And that's not unique to humans, it's also unique to animals. We have very good senses of space. We know where we are. You know, some people have a better sense of direction than others, but people orient themselves, they understand landmarks, they're able to construct mental maps. And of course, this is a fundamental need for survival. If you don't have this capacity, it's going to be pretty hard to orient yourself in the world. Another one is multidimensional sensory perceptions. Like if you see a very vivid picture or a very haunting melody or something, that really forms a strong image. More so perhaps in humans and other animals, because we have a lot of this association cortex. Another, of course, is narrative. What's narrative? Well, when we read a book, we don't really remember the words. In fact, we don't even remember the previous word that we read. But through our lives, we're used to themes. We're used to heroes. We're used to villains. We're used to familial relations. We're used to friend relations. We're used to common emotional motifs, whether it's reward or revenge or what have you. So we're good at these types of things. And notice that when we use mnemonic techniques, we employ these capacities that we're already good at, because that's the old information that's already scaffolded in our nervous system. So the method of loci uses place. Narrative is extremely fundamental. We have to tell narrative stories when we're using the PAO method or something like that. It's also, of course, the case that high-dimensional, visual, very vivid images are memorable, and that's why certain techniques like the method for converting numbers into words uses imagery, and so on. So the fundamental message I want to leave you with, and if anybody or Tony wants to put a question in the chat, I'll be happy to respond, is that your brain works in this way of scaffolding new information on top of old. And the practice of structuring the new information in such a way that when you confront old information, you can more readily absorb it into your cognitive infrastructure is a very important and useful technique. That extends to other cognitive skills, for example, concept formation, pattern perception. So these are kind of common motifs, and exercising this associative faculty is very much like exercising your body. You don't exercise your body just to strengthen your muscles. You don't exercise your body because you need to transport yourself from one place to another by running. You exercise your body because it's good for your cardio system, it's good for your respiratory system, it's good for the biochemistry of your body, it's good for your muscles, it's good for lots of different things. And so nobody has any trouble believing that exercise has a benefit, even though it doesn't get me from place to place. People should, we think, realize that mnemonic techniques and the exercise of the memory faculty has lots of cognitive benefits, even if you have access to information with your iPhone. Okay, that's it. That was, I think, my fundamental message, delivered as best as I can without the shared screen. So if anyone has something they'd like to ask, I'd be happy to comment upon it. Otherwise, I wish I were able to see the event and how it's unfolding, but I certainly wish all the competitors well, and I'm looking forward to hearing about the results.
Okay, welcome back, mental athletes. You've had your 15 minutes to study our list of words, and we're going to find out who has remembered the most number of words.
Okay, so Briley, we will begin with you. What is the first word?
Skirt.
Okay.
Skirt.
Okay, correct. Makenna?
Photo.
Girl.
Disease.
Inspection.
Cigarette.
Trust.
C.
Pencil.
Okay, so we've made it through one round. We're back to Briley on word number 10.
Bed.
Tooth.
Flowers.
Phone.
Bag.
Paper.
Evil.
Plate.
Container.
That is correct. We've now gone through 2 rounds. And
18 words.
18 words. Briley, we're back to you on 19.
Door.
Koala.
Guitar.
Idiocracy.
That is incorrect.
Idiosyncrasy.
Correct.
Abolish.
That is incorrect.
All right,
Word
we gotta
number
get-
23, Erdem.
You got to get everyone up to on X's. So
Dice.
That is correct. Nelson, 24.
Snap.
Correct.
Box.
Correct. So we are now on word 20. We just got 25, which is box. 2 strikes, 1 for Amanda, 1 for Patricia. And Briley, we are back to you on word 26.
Knob.
Showers.
Sandwich.
That would be time. That would be, unfortunately, a strike for Amanda, who is now eliminated. Matt, we need to know word number 29.
What's the previous word again?
Word 28 was sandwich.
Highway.
Energy.
That is correct. Erdem, word 31.
Customer.
Correct.
Challenge.
Thought.
That is correct. We are now going back to Briley with word 34.
Reception.
Abolish.
Percentage.
Matt, it's to you on word 37.
Chest.
Stimulate.
Hospital.
Assistant.
Dance.
That is correct. We are now word 42, back to Briley.
Lid.
Masonry.
Avi, 44.
Thing.
That is incorrect. Matt, we need word 44. That is a strike for Avi, please.
So what's the previous correct word?
43, which was masonry.
Bulletin.
Correct.
Thing.
Yes, thing. Go ahead, Erdem.
Redemption.
Monkey.
Correct.
Katana.
That is correct. So now we have single strikes on Avi and Patricia. Word 49, back to Briley.
Fulfill.
Dossier.
Glass.
Pictures.
Correct.
Letter.
Waterfall.
Correct.
Aw.
Passport.
Correct. Word 57, back to Briley.
Bowl.
Yes. Word 58, Makenna.
Passport.
That is incorrect. Word 58, Avi.
Ukulele.
Correct.
Fox.
Correct.
University.
Correct.
Pot.
Correct.
Coil.
Jason, word number 63.
Thumbtacks.
Correct. Word 64, we're back to Briley.
Adventure.
Shoes.
That is incorrect.
Is it shoe?
Yes, ma'am. Avi, I need word 66. Unfortunately, that was McKenna's second strike. So Avi, the last word was shoe. It is word 66. That is yours now.
Camera.
Correct.
Impressions.
That is incorrect. Patricia, word 67.
Impression.
That is
Spoons.
correct. It was singular. Erdem?
Spoons.
Correct. Nelson?
Kibble.
Cookie.
Correct. And Briley, we are back to you on word 71.
Relate.
Lunchbox.
Correct. 73, Matt.
Slam.
Correct. Patricia, 74. Unfortunately, that would be time with a strike. So that is Patricia's second strike, and Tony, we have eliminated 3 athletes.
Okay, we have eliminated our third. Do we want to continue to see where you guys are going? Go.
Rack.
Where are we? Sheets.
Dog.
Yes, Briley, 77.
Moon.
Pistachio.
Mouse.
Sure. That's Erdem?
Dedicate.
That's correct.
Router.
Crash.
That's correct. Briley, back to you on 83.
Belief.
Lamps.
Dragon.
Erdem, 86 to you.
Toys.
That is incorrect.
Walk.
That is correct.
Vent.
88 to Briley.
Toys.
Monkeys.
Install.
Correct. Erdem, 91. Okay. Nelson, 91.
Pens.
Okay.
Bat.
Briley, 93.
Recliner.
Microphone.
Yes. Matt, do you know 95?
Cup.
96, Nelson.
Gizzards.
Correct. Jason.
Sharpener.
98, Briley.
Turban.
Power.
Correct.
Pants.
100 words.
Me? Is it me? Headphones.
Canvas.
Okay. Briley, 103.
Coaster.
Forgiveness.
Perform.
Correct.
Lungs.
Closet.
Briley, 108.
Deodorant.
Books.
Matt, do you know 110?
Meat.
Excellent.
Statue.
Chase.
Correct. So Briley, back to you at 113.
Switches.
Correct.
Cheese.
115, Matt.
I stopped around there.
Okay. Nelson.
Sticker.
Correct. 116 was
Lights.
Yes. 117, Briley.
Confidence.
Fan.
No.
Shelves.
Yes.
Scythe.
Yes. Correct.
That's 120.
So 121, Briley. You stopped at when. Okay. Nelson, did you two go on?
Treat.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, what did he say?
He
Treat.
said treat at 121.
Bow or
Okay.
bow.
So now it's you two.
Bow.
Same thing. Yes.
Fire.
Television.
I stopped. I didn't bother.
Okay.
Armor, dismiss.
Okay.
You want me to keep going?
Keep going as far as you want to go, Jason. It's
armor,
all yours.
Dismiss. Let's see. Card railing. Handle bourbon. Bulbs garbage. Unemployment accept. Raven Daisy. Then we went to father operate.
That's 138
Fantastic.
words.
You would have finished out that column with pills and microwave.
I went to 150, but
You would have gotten a pills and microwave, and that
that?
would have closed down to one
pills,
column,
microwave,
140.
All right,
Excellent.
138 is the highest we've ever done in that event as well. So this is an extraordinary group of people. We're going to give you
That
another
was fantastic.
10-minute break for them, and we're going to be ready for the tea party. So as we set that up, they're going to get to meet some people and remember information about them. So we'll take a 10-minute break.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Schafer, and I wish I was there in person, but I'm really happy to be able to talk with you today. So my love for the memory competition comes from my fascination with the brain. I am a neuroscientist, and I'm also the CEO of Lumos Labs. We're a digital health company focusing on the brain and cognition. If you've been watching the competition today, you're already at least a little familiar with our main product, Lumosity, because you saw the mental athletes compete in a Lumosity game at the beginning of the competition. I have some slides here that I'll share. So today I'll be talking about cognitive training and the science of Lumosity, but really I want to focus on a couple topics inspired by our mental athletes and this competition. First, I want to describe our approach to brain training and how it fits in with the type of memory competition you're watching today. I'll also share some of the research we've been up to, ways that we can understand whether and how our form of brain training can help train memory and other aspects of cognition. So to kick it off, I want to start with the inspiration behind Lumosity, because this is actually the exact same inspiration that led to the creation of the Memory Championship. We believe that everybody, regardless of who you are, can learn to use their brain more effectively. For our memory competitors, this means learning mnemonics and other methods for helping your brain retain certain types of information. And for us, with Lumosity, we approach things using the science of cognitive training. Cognitive training can take many forms, but usually it consists of guided, targeted practice of cognitive skills with the goal of improvements that generalize to new, untrained tasks. So where our mental athletes have been sharpening their mnemonic techniques to apply them to specific events, you can imagine a complementary type of training, sort of like cross-training, with the goal of transferring to other things that you do. So this is Lumosity. We take cognitive tasks from the lab or the clinic and translate them into games to train your cognition. It's designed kind of like a gym for your brain. So each day you're given a set of games to train on, and you can track your progress and get insights and feedback into your training. So the program and many of the games themselves actually adapt to your performance. So they always meet you with a good, fun challenge. Here's an example of how we translate tasks into games. So games target a range of cognitive abilities. And by that, I mean things like memory, attention, problem solving, information processing speed, cognitive flexibility, also math and language. In this case here, in the middle of the screen, we started with something called the self-ordered pointing task. That's the task at the top here. So this is the lab task. And in this one, you need to continually choose objects that you haven't chosen previously. We translated this into a game called Title Treasures at the bottom here, which helps you practice this aspect of memory, where you need to keep track of all the things you've done previously. So try to think through some of the activities in your life where you might need to use that same skill. And on the right is an example of an end-back task. So the lab version up top, and our game speed match below. The end-back task, here you show, you need to respond, you need to remember what shape is shown to you and then respond whether the new shape that's shown matches or doesn't match the shape that was shown 1 back, 2 back, 3 back, even beyond. So this is an end-back task here. So this task has been used extensively in cognitive research, and in fact, in some studies, the subjects exclusively do the end-back task over and over to understand how mental performance changes with practice. Our take on cognitive training is a little bit different. Instead of playing one single task over and over again, we believe that breadth of games and breadth of the cognitive skills that you're training is not only more fun, but also it's important to your training. And the idea is that components of our games, so things that your brain needs to do to play them well, these components are shared with things you do in other activities in the real world. So this could be something like your attention system needs to filter out distracting information whenever you're busy looking for where you left your keys. Or imagine reading a map and you're trying to visualize how your map relates to the real world around you, or even just remembering the items on your shopping list. So the goal of cognitive training is that training on the tasks or the games will not only help you improve at the games themselves, but it will also transfer to improvements in other areas. So in the next section, I'll show you a couple examples of how we've measured and studied that transfer. We've actually approached this in several different ways. And so I'll start with a study that we refer to as the crossword study. The results here were published in a research article a few years ago. So why do we call it the crossword study? Well, we call this a randomized controlled trial, an RCT. It's controlled because we use another activity to compare Lumosity to. And in this case, we used crossword training. It's also randomized, meaning that subjects don't pick which activity they want to do, we randomly put them into either the Lumosity group or the crosswords group. So subjects trained several times a week for 10 weeks. Again, half of them using Lumosity, half of them using crossword puzzles. And everybody in the study took a cognitive test. We call it the Neurocognitive Performance Test, or NCPT. They took it once at the beginning of the study, then they did their training, and they took it again after the 10 weeks of training. They also answered questions about real-world cognitive successes and failures, things like how often they misplaced items around the house. This was a big study as far as RCTs go, with nearly 5,000 participants ages 18 to 75. So what did we find? On the left here, we see how much the subjects improved on their cognitive tests after they finished their training. You can see that the Lumosity group in teal had greater improvements than the crossword group in red here. And the improvement was more than double. If we look at the right-hand side, we can actually break this down into the individual tests of the NCPT. So Lumosity outperformed on a number of tests of things like short-term memory, working memory, different types of reasoning. There's actually an interesting detail in here. The one exception was a test of grammatical reasoning, where the crosswords group in red improved by more, which could make sense. So this was a nice result in a large study. But next, I want to show you a new paper that just came out in the last few months. I actually mentioned it during last year's Memory Championship, and I'm excited that it's now published and out in the world. So on the team, we call this one our dose response study, because we're able to look at what dose of Lumosity, meaning how many games did you play? How much did you train? How does that dose relate to the size of the improvement that you get? And again, we call this transfer of learning. So the training on Lumosity transfers to improved performance on untrained cognitive skills or cognitive tests. What's especially exciting about this one is that the subjects in this research were all real Lumosity members out in the wild. We're able to analyze data from Lumosity participants, and this was all de-identified data, of course, to understand how the amount that they played related to the size of their improvement on the cognitive tests. There were more than 100,000 participants ages 18 to 89. And this type of research just wasn't possible, years ago. So having the great Lumosity community and our ability to actually understand human cognition better, that really enabled this study here. So here we show average improvement on the cognitive test. This is the average score across all of these individual NCPT subtests as a function of the amount of Lumosity training that people did between their first and second tests. Remember, there are more than 100,000 participants here, so each dot that you see is about 5,000 people. And what you can see is that the more Lumosity use there was between tests, that translated to greater improvements in test performance. And this form here was actually true for all age groups and all levels of education. And again, this was a very wide age range, 18 to 89, and all levels of educational attainment. And at this point, so all age groups and all levels of education, I think this actually brings us back full circle to the inspiration and the motivation that I mentioned at the very beginning, which is that we and all of the folks at the USA Memory Championship believe that everybody, regardless of who you are, can learn to use their brain more effectively. So with that, I'll wrap up. If you'd like to learn more about Lumosity and our research, here are some links to more information. The first one goes to our Human Cognition Project, or HCP. That's our program for supporting independent external research. And you can also read more about our research on our blog. So thank you for having me. And now let's get back to the mental athletes.
John Graham, it's going back over to you. We've got a couple of people coming over to you from the words, and then we'll be back for the tea party.
So I'm here with Amanda. first-time competitor, is that correct?
Yeah.
First time, and eliminated, unfortunately, in the words event. Can you just tell me about your experience? What were some of your expectations, and how did it go today for you?
I was expecting to not make it that far, honestly, but I was hoping to get past at least the first round.
So mission accomplished for you,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So the words event, you're backstage. You got the list of words, 15 minutes, 300 words. How many words did you attempt? Do you know?
I tried to do 150 to 160.
Wow. Okay. And had you practiced that before, that number?
Yeah.
That's way more than I ever attempted. That's pretty impressive. Had you, so coming today, you practiced 115 words. What happened on stage?
I think it was just the nerves that got to me. I was really nervous.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Sorry, because this event usually isn't my best event, so I was nervous.
Okay. And what's your strategy for words? How do you memorize them?
I placed 2 words on a location.
Okay. So you use a memory palace, 2 words, 1 image. Could you give an example, like the first 2 words from this list? How did you memorize those?
I kind of forgot.
Okay, that's okay. I'm putting her back under pressure. Don't do that. I heard that 3 of you guys are from the same school. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you, Ian, Annabella, right? And how long have you been in school together?
Like, I think 1 or 2 years.
Okay, what grade are you in now?
10th grade.
10th grade, New York City, correct?
Yeah.
The 3 of you have learned about memory techniques for a while, so it's pretty cool. One high school has 3 representatives on stage today. That's really, really impressive. Yeah. Are you planning on coming back next year?
I'll try to. Yeah.
You try to? Okay. It's pretty busy with school, right? You have the
Yeah.
long term and everything. What's so
Good
words,
afternoon.
Words
I'm
was your
Riley.
toughest event, but what was your favorite event?
My favorite event, probably long term, honestly.
Okay. You did really well at that. So, Amanda, congrats. Today,
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you back next year. Good luck at school.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll have Makenna come on here next. So we have Makenna. Welcome, Makenna.
Hello.
So just a fun fact, Makenna, when the pandemic happened, 2020, they had a competition online. It's one that I participated in. It was sort of an unofficial U.S. Memory Championship, and you're looking at the winner of that competition. So was that when you started, 2020?
Yes, that's the year I started competing.
And I think it's funny, you started out of boredom, is that right? Can you
Yes.
share the story?
Yeah, so I started, my parents were having like a party and I was like 10, and I went down in the basement and just started memorizing pi, but I didn't have like a technique. Now I use the mnemonic system, but I was just hardcore instilling the numbers into my brain and repeating it over and over, and I actually still have hundreds of digits of pi in my mind. Just like, I don't think about it, I can just say it.
But you have them memorized without any sort of imagery like you do now.
No images. And it's like I can't start halfway, I can't slow down, I can't speed up. I have to say it at a specific rate, and it only makes sense if I do it like that. It's stupid.
So obviously you've changed. You've incorporated techniques. This will be what, your 3rd time competing today?
Yes, I competed again in 2021, and I got out 2nd in words.
Okay.
So I guess I got out 2nd in words again, but not 2nd overall.
Okay. So walk us through words. Like what happened today on stage for you?
So when it looped back around, I thought we were at a different part than we were. I thought he had said "aw," and that I thought we were at a different part. So I said the wrong thing, and I should have clarified and been like, "Oh, what was the last correct word?" And also, just shoes instead of shoe was rough.
The stress of this, I want to reiterate, the stress of this event is so intense. I remember all the years that I competed, this is one of the hardest events because you have to not only know the words in order, but you have to stay current. You have to be able to hear each person and follow along without jumping out or jumping too far ahead. And that's sort of what happened on that word with you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really rough when I do it. I think that's part of the reason I did so well in 2020 was like when I do it on Memory League, it's so easy to just run through in my head. But when other people are going through it at a cadence that I'm not okay with, and then I'm like, oh, we skipped a section, like, it's hard. It's different. I got trained for it.
Yeah, you'll learn from this. How many words did you attempt?
I think I got up to like 99, so I probably, if I had pulled it together, I might have made it through, but I didn't, so.
Is 99 a pretty typical result for you? 99 words, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's actually better than I'm used to. I did better than I thought I would, and I'm proud of myself overall. I didn't think I'd make it past the first round, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, you did so well long term. Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so are we going to see you continue to compete, continue to improve, and advance next year?
Yes, yeah, I'm going to be doing it next year, and I'm going to be at the event in November, so you'll see me then.
Cool. Well, Makenna, congrats, and hope to see you again in the future.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm here with Patricia. Patricia is a first-time competitor, correct?
Yes.
And this is really impressive because she picked up and started qualifying, practicing like weeks before the actual qualifier. Is that correct?
I think probably exactly about a week before the qualifier. So.
What's really impressive that I noticed about Patricia is her numbers. So I looked at all the qualifying scores, and she had the best result for numbers. And numbers, typically everyone has systems. Like I have a 3-digit system. A lot of people have 2-digit PAO. She doesn't memorize. She memorized 80 digits in 22 seconds to qualify under pressure. Can you walk us through, before we talk about words, can you talk about how you memorize numbers? Because I find it so fascinating.
Sure, yeah. So I will say that 22.65 second trial, it was a lot of luck, because what happens when you don't have a system, right? There isn't a lot of consistency, and so I have had trials that vary by 90 seconds sometimes, and it really just depends. But for me, basically what happens is I have a sort of time-space synesthesia, and so numbers have always sort of meant something to me. And even I remember as a kid, this sounds really silly, but sometimes I would just neglect doing my tests because I would stare at the numbers, and I would see the numbers talk to each other or interact with each other or something like that. They have their own personalities and their own images. And then as I've gone through with life, I know a lot of people just if you could think about your last holiday, if you could think about where you are on 9/11, most people would remember where they were. And for me, the way I explain it is that I just have that, but for 365 days of the year. And so because dates mean a lot to me, already, rather than when I see a 10-digit number, string of number, right? I'm not seeing 10 abstract things to memorize. I'm seeing 3 to 4, sometimes even just 2 images that I already know. And so that's kind of how, because I never actually thought about breaking it down before until you asked me. Yeah. And then I thought about that. It is sort of just an involuntary digit system, I would call it. And so, but it's not just dates. I think dates is one of the biggest contributors, but I also have just relationships. And so if I see that there's a certain number that's associated with a certain person and I see it there, it's already another image. So for example, there are 3 digits of Tony's phone number that I saw in one of the national parks, and I didn't even think about it, but then I just saw that. I was like, wait, that's Tony's number. And so it just it's hard to not think about that and Tony. And so even it's just that I already have all these pre-downloaded images, I suppose. And so I do want to kind of finish building it off. I kind of want to, it's going to take so long, but I want to sit down, type out just a 4-digit, and then just fill in what I already have and see what I don't have, and then just fill in the rest.
Yeah, that's so impressive, because numbers are so abstract, and what she's doing is she already has so much meaning tied into the numbers. Naturally, she loves numbers and just associates phone numbers and dates and everything, so that when she sees a number on a page, she instantly almost has a story based on what it's telling her, which I find fascinating. That's very, very uncommon in the memory sport world. I find that she's got quite an advantage there. I mean, maybe not an advantage, but she has so much poured into memory and meaning with numbers that I just love that approach.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel because for example, this feels uncommon, but words is my weakest event, and it felt like a very unfortunate thing because since Tea Party has so many numbers, I feel like for me, like the tea party event feels easy-ish to me.
Okay.
But then the words are abstract, even though I know the meaning. It's weird. I can't explain it. But.
I know, you're so good with numbers. So tell me about words. How many words did you attempt first off?
So I was wanting to attempt like 100 to 120. I didn't really have a game plan for what I was going to do if I got past long term. And so when it happened, I was like, I have to kind of decide now, because I've never been married to a system. The one that I used for qualifiers, I always usually used like a linking system story method because it's fast. But the thing is, like, this is the one event to me that is the most different than what we practice on Memory League, for example, because I'm so used to like skipping recall period and regurgitating all the words immediately, that having to verbally recall them and doing it in a round robin style order, and so I had a few minutes to decide right before the event. I was like, okay, what kind of system do I think I need to use? And because accuracy mattered the most, like I kind of made up a palace like on the spot. Wow. Just to like see, because like I was kind of like, okay, I want to try to see if I could like because my 1-to-1 system that I usually had with the periodic table, which I like because it tells me exactly what word I'm on, it's just too slow. So
sort of like a peg system for people interested, yeah.
Yeah, but
and one thing I noticed too, my very first competition in 2015, I was the last one eliminated in words on the 77th word, which was thumb. Patricia made it in her first competition to the 74th word. And just really, she has a lot of potential, untapped potential. I'm excited to see her in the future. So are we going to see you maybe next year?
Now that I've gotten the ball rolling, I intend to come back every year to compete. I feel motivated now because I'm guessing like if I can get this far without as much training, all I need to do is I just need to manage my time better. Yeah. Understand what you said, that learning a language like this is an investment, and just do it long term. But I think if I can dedicate time to it, I'd like to come back next year and win.
I hope so. I'd love to see you. I think everyone else would. And congrats on this year.
Thank you.
And we'll send it back to Tony for the next event.
Let me just give you a quick background of the Tea Party event. Remember earlier today, I told you that Mark Cuban had brought his HDNet television network to the Memory Championship. Well, prior to that event, they would sit, as I told you, they'd sit at tables, and we'd have scorers, and we'd have a bunch of people volunteering to mark papers, and it was like being in school and getting your papers marked. When Mark Cuban sent his HDNet producers to it, they wanted to get a couple of events that were audience-friendly so somebody in an audience could play along. And so what we did is we took all of the qualifying information, so numbers and words and names and faces, and we said, how do we integrate that into one event? And so when we put the team together and we came up, we said, you know what? We're going to put together an integration of all the information that they learned in the morning, and we'll put them on stage in the afternoon, and then they'd have to retain and recall it and then demonstrate their comprehension of it. We had teenagers in the competition, and the principal came up to us and said, you understand you have teenagers in this? I think you need to rename your event. And so we went from a cocktail party to a tea party. We socialize in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. We have some tea, and we meet some people, and we learn some information about them. A lot of sales and marketing people have loved this event because they want to know how these people are remembering information that they would want to learn when they're talking to clients or their networking meetings and things of that sort. So this is probably one of the most powerful events that we've got in terms of people wanting to know how are they doing this, because I'd love to be able to teach this to my sales force or to my marketing people, so when we meet people in our business interactions, we can remember as much as they are. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Karen.
We are here to meet 6 Tea Party guests. So the way this event is going to run is there are pre-recorded videos. You will watch the videos of the 6 guests the first time as they run through. The videos are approximately a minute long. They're a little bit less. They're probably closer to 45 or 50 seconds. At that point, after you meet guests 1 through 6, underneath your chairs are mind maps that have an image and the information of the Tea Party guests. You will pick those up, and we are going to watch the videos 1 through 6 again with the mind maps. We will get through the videos 1 through 6, upon which you will not see the videos again. You will have, in the rules I sent you, it was 5 minutes. Tony is making me give you 6. So you will have 6 minutes to review those maps of those guests with the images. After which they're done, you need to put them face down underneath your chairs. You can't see them, your neighbors might. And we will randomly pick out different guests to come back. We will pick out the first guest, and we will run through all of the information on that guest before we move on to the next one. You will have 15 seconds to begin your recall. That doesn't mean you can say that is and then sit there blindly for 60 seconds. You reasonably need to keep your speech. You will have 3 strikes, so 2 missed opportunities, and on the third one, you will be eliminated. In the event that you miss and you get a strike, the next athlete will be given the same information, the same question. So I will in no way indicate what or if any part of your answer was correct or what was incorrect. If by some reason I do, we're moving on to the next piece of information. Any questions? Okay, so I believe we're all set to start with the videos.
Good afternoon. I'm Riley Sterling Sloan, and I was born July 11th, 2001. I went to Lee County High School, home of the Titans, class of 2020. I live in Westminster, South Carolina, area code 29693. I work for the Gateway Arts Center as a member of their custodial crew. I have a Sphinx cat, nude, named Pancake. In my free time, I enjoy practicing violin, couponing, and pottery. I drive a 2022 Nissan Rogue in gun metallic, and my 3 favorite foods are ravioli, fried shrimp, and broccoli.
Hi, I'm Charlie Jean Kayev. I was born on February 15, 2001, and went to Columbus High. I'm proud to be a Wildcat and proud to be a part of the class of 2019. I live in Strawberry, Arkansas, 72469, and I work with CVS as a pharmacy intern. I live with a son, Conyer. She's orange, and her name is Lynn. I really like fruit carving, cosplay, and calligraphy. I drive a 2015 Ford F-150 in the color blue jeans. If we go out to eat, I love getting pad thai, tomato soup, or chocolate cake.
Hey yo, I'm Dakota Quinn Robbins. My birthday is December 21st, 2002, and I'm a graduate of the Arcadia High School Firebirds class of 2021. I live in Edson, Wisconsin, zip code 54727. I work at Dunkin' Donuts as a barista so I can support my Burmese cat. He's a tortoiseshell and his name is String Bean. I like reading, karate, and board games in my free time. I drive a 2017 Lincoln MKC in white platinum, and I'll never say no to tacos, chicken fingers, or lemon cookies.
What's up? My name's Ezra Landon O'Malley. I was born October 2nd, 2002, and went to Silver Valley High School. Go Cavaliers! I graduated with the class of 2021, and now I live in Geneva, Florida, 32732. I work at the Still Waters Day and Medical Spa as one of their spa technicians. It's a cool gig. My pet is the sweetest Labrador Retriever you'll ever meet. She's black, and her name is Lucy. I really like model making, writing, and crosswords when I get the chance. I drive a 2014 Mazda CX-5 in gray. Oh, and my favorite foods are hot dogs, gingerbread, and mashed potatoes.
Hello, my name is Gail Grant Warren, and I was born on September 3rd, 2004. I went to Bear River High School, home of the Grizzly Bears, and recently graduated in 2023. I now live in Norfolk, Virginia, 23509. Right now, I work with the Norfolk Public Schools as a mathematics tutor. At home with me is my Siberian Husky. He's gray and white, and his name is Link. In my free time, I enjoy crochet, drawing, and swimming. I drive a 2021 Kia Seltos in Star Bright Yellow. My 3 favorite foods are popcorn, spaghetti carbonara, and pork roast.
Hey, name's Alex Elliott Castier. Born May 23rd, 2003. I graduated Liberty High School, home of the Hawks, in 2021. I live in Decatur, Mississippi, 39327. Right now, I work with the YMCA as a camp counselor. I've also got a half-moon beta in red named Cherry. I like to do card tricks, knitting, and gardening for fun. My car is a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee in diamond black. And my favorite foods are scrambled eggs, a Caesar salad, and fish sticks.
Okay, athletes, at this point, you may pick up your mind maps and use them when we watch the videos play through a second time.
Good afternoon. I'm Riley Sterling Sloan, and I was born July 11th, 2001. I went to Lee County High School, home of the Titans, class of 2020. I live in Westminster, South Carolina, area code 29693. I work for the Gateway Arts Center as a member of their custodial crew. I have a Sphinx cat, nude, named Pancake. In my free time, I enjoy practicing violin, couponing, and pottery. I drive a 2022 Nissan Rogue in gun metallic, and my three favorite foods are ravioli, fried shrimp, and broccoli.
Hi, I'm Charlie Jean Kayev. I was born on February 15, 2001, and went to Columbus High. I'm proud to be a Wildcat and proud to be a part of the class of 2019. I live in Strawberry, Arkansas, 72469, and I work with CVS as a pharmacy intern. I live with a son, Conyer. She's orange, and her name is Lynn. I really like fruit carving, cosplay, and calligraphy. I drive a 2015 Ford F-150 in the color blue jeans. If we go out to eat, I love getting pad thai, tomato soup, or chocolate cake.
Hey yo, I'm Dakota Quinn Robbins. My birthday is December 21st, 2002, and I'm a graduate of the Arcadia High School Firebirds class of 2021. I live in Edson, Wisconsin, zip code 54727. I work at Dunkin' Donuts as a barista so I can support my Burmese cat. He's a tortoiseshell and his name is String Bean. I like reading, karate, and board games in my free time. I drive a 2017 Lincoln MKC in white platinum, and I'll never say no to tacos, chicken fingers, or lemon cookies.
What's up? My name's Ezra Landon O'Malley. I was born October 2nd, 2002, and went to Silver Valley High School. Go Cavaliers! I graduated with the class of 2021, and now I live in Geneva, Florida, 32732. I work at the Still Waters Day and Medical Spa as one of their spa technicians. It's a cool gig. My pet is the sweetest Labrador Retriever you'll ever meet. She's black, and her name is Lucy. I really like model making, writing, and crosswords when I get the chance. I drive a 2014 Mazda CX-5 in gray. Oh, and my favorite foods are hot dogs, gingerbread, and mashed potatoes.
Hello, my name is Gail Grant Warren, and I was born on September 3rd, 2004. I went to Bear River High School, home of the Grizzly Bears, and recently graduated in 2023. I now live in Norfolk, Virginia, 23509. Right now, I work with the Norfolk Public Schools as a mathematics tutor. At home with me is my Siberian Husky. He's gray and white, and his name is Link. In my free time, I enjoy crochet, drawing, and swimming. I drive a 2021 Kia Seltos in Star Bright Yellow. My three favorite foods are popcorn, spaghetti carbonara, and pork roast.
Hey, name's Alex Elliott Castier. Born May 23rd, 2003. I graduated Liberty High School, home of the Hawks, in 2021. I live in Decatur, Mississippi, 39327. Right now, I work with the YMCA as a camp counselor. I've also got a half moon beta in red named Cherry. I like to do card tricks, knitting, and gardening for fun. My car is a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee in diamond black. And my favorite foods are scrambled eggs, a Caesar salad, and fish sticks.
Okay, athletes, you have now met all 6 guests twice. I'm going to start the timer. You have 6 minutes. Audience, we're asking to please stay as quiet as possible.
So here the athletes have 6 minutes to review. Last year was 5 minutes, so they've increased it, probably because there's 6 guests, but this is a really critical period for the athletes. They're going to have to review and consolidate all of the imagery and information that they've seen on the mind maps, so they're going to be scanning through the mind maps one at a time, just making sure that the numbers are correct, the fine details that maybe are a little bit harder, some of the dates are really solidified in their memory palace or in their mind. You saw there's 6 guests. It's a lot of information. There's about 9 facts per guest, so 54 facts that they have to nail correctly. They can't get partial. They have to get the whole fact correct to move on. So they're really looking at the details here. They're really looking in their memory palace, making sure the images are solid, that they feel good. But the thing is, they only have limited time. So on average, they have 1 minute per guest to review here at the very end to stay on pace to make sure that they have all 6 guests. So when I've competed in the past, I wanted to get all the information, all 6 guests, meaning some people might have a strategy where they're only going to solidify 4 guests or 5 guests if they don't feel confident that they can get through all 6. So everyone has a different strategy. The main technique that they use here is the memory palace, where, for example, the first guest that appears on screen, I would put that guest at, let's say, my parents' house. So the first 3 names, first, middle, and last name, I would put images, put that story at my parents' front door, for example, store the information there. I would walk inside, and on the couch, I would put the date of birth, consolidate that, make a story, put it there, and so forth. So when it comes to the next guest, I would pick a completely new memory palace and a location, or let's say my aunt's house, to store the second guest. And that's how I would do it. Now everyone does it differently. I know Nelson, who's on screen now, uses a memory palace. Some people use a story method where they basically make one big long story and connecting those facts to the single person. So when they see the person on screen, as you saw them talking, they can imagine their name and their date of birth from that story that they stored. Maybe they put images on the person, or just kind of like Patricia mentioned in her interview, sort of intuitively create a story based on their experiences with those dates, with those pets' names, with those animals, with those hobbies. So I hope you guys were following along as they were memorizing, because you can see how impressive it is to know and store this much amount of information about people. This is also probably one of the most challenging events. I've been a memory athlete for a while. A lot of competitors talk about that this event is sort of the wild card. They're never sure if they're going to be able to attempt it all, or what facts, or how difficult this will be. So I know a lot of athletes don't really always look forward to this event because of the difficulty level. But everyone looks pretty calm and composed. I know on the inside they're stressed and they're making sure all the images are correct in the short amount of time that they do have left. But these are just last second.
2 minutes remaining, athletes.
Making sure they're looking at the information on the page, looking through their mind's eye at their memory palace at the location to see if that image that they created for that fact is there, and if it's visible, and if it's connected, and it feels good, and moving on to the next one very quickly and repeating that process, just going over at a clip of about probably 1 guest per minute. And they have all the information there in front of them as a mind map. You can see Matt Wilson there. Pretty composed, Matt. It'd be interesting to see, you know, so far this competition has gone a lot farther and more impressive than in years past. This is a pretty solid field this year. So I'm expecting this tea party to last more than a few guests. In years past, it's only made it maybe one, maybe two, sometimes three guests before the three people that are eliminated and move on to the next event. So we will see three people eliminated from this event to move on to the next event. They will have 3 strikes in a few minutes, so 3 chances, 3 mistakes and they're out. You see Avi Chavda there. Avi was second place at MIT in 2018. So we have a really good field. Jason was second place last year. Nelson's a 5-time winner. Matt has been since 2011. Briley, first-time competitor there, made it to Tea Party. That's really impressive. Erdem, this is only his second year. He's in high school. He made the final. So this is a really impressive group of young men.
Athletes, your time is up. Would you please put the papers face down underneath your chair? And okay, do we have our first screenshot ready to go? Is that who's on the screen?
You're good.
Okay, so Briley, we would be starting with you. Could you please tell us who that Tea Party guest is?
Charlie Jean Karev.
That is correct. Avi, what would his birthday be?
10/2/1995.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
October 2nd, 1995.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Matt, what would his birthday be?
February 15th, 2001.
That is correct. Erdem, what is his high school alma mater? Unfortunately, that is time and a check for Erdem. Nelson?
Columbus High, 2019 Firebird.
That is incorrect. Jason?
Columbus High Wildcats 2019.
That is
There it
correct.
is. Okay. That's showing 2 seconds. There it is.
Okay, so Briley, we are back up to you. What is his home residence?
Strawberry, Arkansas, 72469.
That is correct. Avi, what is his employment?
Pharmacy intern at CVS.
That is correct. Matt, what is his pet?
Don't know.
That would be a strike for Matt. Erdem, what is his pet?
Son Nezra.
Repeat that again, please.
Son Nezra.
That is incorrect. Nelson, do you know his pet?
Sun Conure Orange Lynn.
That is correct. Matt, I'm sorry, Jason, can you please tell me what his hobbies are?
Fruit carving, calligraphy, and cosplay.
That is correct. Briley, what does Charlie drive?
I do not know the car.
That would be Briley's first strike. Avi, do you know what he drives?
2015 Ford F-150. Blue jeans.
That is correct. Matt, what are his favorite foods?
Ravioli, broccoli, fried shrimp.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Erdem, do you know Charlie's favorite foods?
Chocolate cake, ravioli, no, spaghetti carbonara, chocolate cake, and
I'm sorry, Erdem, that is incorrect. Nelson, do you know his favorite food?
Erdem's third strike, Karen?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it's pad thai, tomato soup, and chocolate cake.
That is correct. We have finished our first tea party guest. Tony, would you like to recap our board? Okay, Tony, you cannot see the board. Briley has 1 strike. Avi has 1 strike. Matt has 2 strikes. Nelson has 1. Jason has none. If we may meet the next tea party guest coming out, please. Jason, who are we meeting?
Urza Landon O'Malley.
That is correct. Briley, what is his birthday?
October 2nd, 2002.
That is correct. Avi, his high school alma mater.
Sun Valley High School. Cavaliers. 2019.
That is incorrect. That's a second strike for Avi. Matt?
Silver Valley High School, Cavaliers, 2021.
That is correct. Nelson, what is his home residence?
Geneva, Florida, 32732.
That is correct. Jason, what is his employment?
Stillwater's spa and medical spa technician.
Repeat that for me, please.
Stillwater's spa and medical spa technician.
That is incorrect. Briley, what is his employment?
Still Waters Day and Medical Spa as a spa technician.
That is correct.
Good work. Excellent.
Avi, his pet.
Black Labrador named Lucy.
That is correct. His hobbies, Matt.
Knitting, gardening, card tricks.
That is incorrect. That is Matt's third strike. Nelson, do you remember his hobbies?
Model making, writing, and crosswords.
That is correct. Excellent work. Jason, what does Ezra drive? That is a strike on Jason. Briley, do you know what Ezra...
Jason's second strike.
Jason's second strike. Briley, do you know what Ezra drives?
I do not know the car.
That is Briley's second strike now.
Oh, wow.
Avi, do you know what he drives?
2014 Mazda CX-5 in gray.
That is
Excellent.
correct.
Well done,
Excellent
Avi.
job.
Good work.
Nelson, what are his favorite 3 foods?
Hot dogs, gingerbread and mashed potatoes.
That is absolutely correct. We have now met our second tea party guest, and to recap, Briley has 2 strikes, Avi has 1 strike. I'm sorry, Avi has 2 strikes, Nelson has 1 strike, and Jason has 2. So if we may meet our next tea party guest. Jason, who are we meeting?
Where are we at, Karen?
Jason. You
Okay.
don't know who that is, Jason. Okay. And that, unfortunately, is Jason's 3rd strike.
All right, that wraps it up.
My 3 up there, do you want to continue to roll, or do you just want to stop? Briley?
Briley, go
Okay,
for it.
Avi said no. Briley says yes. Nelson?
All right, sure.
Okay, Tony, you run it from here.
Go ahead, Riley, go.
Alex Elliott Castier.
And his birthday.
Oh,
No, you go. We'll go to Nelson.
I think it was May 23rd, 2003.
All right, high school alma mater.
Yeah, I'll tap out.
All right. His high school?
I don't know. Was that the Arcadia one? Acadia? No. Oh,
Liberty.
wait. Liberty High.
Yep. What were they
Right.
called?
Hawks.
Yeah.
2021.
There you go. You want to tell us his home residence?
Decatur, Mississippi, 39327.
Excellent. Good work. His employment?
YMCA. Is he camp counselor?
What kind of pet?
I don't know the pet.
All right.
Half Moon Beta. Red Cherry.
All right. And we'll wrap this guy up. Hobbies?
Gardening, card tricks, and I don't know the 3rd one.
Remember the 3rd one?
Hold on. Card tricks.
Card tricks and gardening.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Knitting.
Yeah.
And we have his car. Remember his car at all?
No, I didn't do the cars.
All right.
Yes. It was a Jeep Grand Cherokee Diamond Black 2022.
All right. And his favorite foods?
Caesar salad, scrambled eggs, and fish sticks.
Congratulations, guys. We're going to give them a 15-minute break, and they'll be back for the double-decker bust. We'll have a chance to reset the stage.
So the Roman room method is probably the oldest known mnemonic system, excuse me. And it's known as a method of, I've heard it pronounced loci, loci, I've even heard it pronounced loci and loci. I don't care how you pronounce it. They all mean the same thing. They're all Latin for the word location because they involve the visualization of a location in your memory while you're trying to anchor it to remember something. So a little bit of the history of how the Roman room first got its name. Interestingly enough, although it's called the Roman room, it was the first documented use of it is by the Greek lyric poet Simonides of Chios. And the banquet hall that he was giving an epic poetry recital in had guests seated around the table. And while he had stepped out of the room in order to receive his payment, the ceiling of the banquet hall collapsed, killing everybody that was seated around the table. It's a gruesome story, I know, but it's actually true. He was asked to step back into the room, and because the remains of the people had been so badly mangled by the weight of the ceiling crushing them, he was asked to recall where each person was based on where they were seated around the table. And he was able to do that using his memory of where the guests were seated. That is the first documented use of the Roman room. Now, interestingly enough, you may say, well, if it's a Greek poet that was given credit for it, why is it called the Roman room and not the Greek room? And the answer for that is it wasn't until Roman orators began using it that the method of loci became more popular. And in fact, it was taught in oratory and rhetorical schools within the Roman Republic and eventually the Roman Empire. And that's how it first became popularized for people that were learning to give these very long presentations in public. They would use the method of loci to help anchor what their key points were that they needed to make during the presentation. So that's how we ended up with a Roman room and not a Greek room. So what does a Roman room consist of? Really, it consists of any room that you want to use for it. It can be a room that you currently have access to. It can be a room from your childhood. In the study that I'm a part of with Columbia and Princeton and MIT, many of the students that are using the Roman room are actually away from their homes because they're in dormitories at school, but they're still using childhood bedrooms or childhood living rooms or childhood kitchens. It needs to, the most important thing is it needs to be a room where you are intimately familiar with the details and you're able to close your eyes and visualize, and you can remember interesting landmarks, if you will, within the room, and you can remember a sufficient amount of them to be able to create a sufficient number of anchors to be able to memorize something. I'm going to assume for purposes of an example, you're going to want to memorize at least 13 things. So to start off, I recommend that you imagine that you're standing in the doorway of the room and that you're at 12 o'clock on the face of the clock. So you're in the doorway, and then the first thing you do is you turn as far to your left as you can, and whatever the first item is that's on the wall, you label that to be 1 o'clock. And then you continue to work your way around the room from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, all the way around the room until you've made it back to where you came back in, and let's assume that that's back at 12 o'clock. Now, a couple of questions that I get asked about this is, does it have to be 12 anchors? Because I'm using an example of a clock. The answer to that is no. It can be as many anchors as you want to put in the room. I use 12 because a lot of times when I'm first teaching this, it's easier for someone to visualize it as a clock face and going around the face of a clock than it is to say, let's do a room with 20 or 30 or 40. The second question that I get asked a lot is, does it have to be clockwise? The answer to that one also is no. It should be whatever you're most comfortable with. I've found anecdotally, I don't know how much the science supports this, but it seems like people that are left-handed are more likely to want to go counterclockwise, and people that are right-handed are more likely to go clockwise. I don't have enough of statistical evidence to support that that is 100% conclusive, but that's anecdotal from the study that I'm doing with my research partners. So, using the example room that we presented before, I'm going to assume that we've entered the room, we've turned left, and we're now walking ourselves around the room. So the first item that was on the wall was a light switch to be able to turn the lights on and off. Then anchor number 2 is a light fixture. So it was protruding from the wall, and it had a lampshade on top of the fixture. And then item number 3 was a framed piece of artwork that was mounted up on the wall. We're going to continue to work our way clockwise around the room. Item number 4 is a fruit bowl that is situated on a bookshelf. Item 5 is a potted plant that's seated on the floor. Item 6 is a window. You can imagine that the window is open or closed. In this diagram, the window is closed, but you could always assume that it was open when you're doing it. Item 7 is a floor lamp, excuse me, and item 8 are books on a bookshelf. Continuing to walk our way around the room clockwise, item 9 is a vase or a vase, depending on how you like to pronounce it. Item 10 is a television set that's been mounted on the wall. And item 11 is a power outlet for plugging in electrical devices. Then we've made our way back to the doorway, but we've thrown an extra bonus anchor in there. So we've made item 12 the doormat that's right in front of the door as you have it open, and item 13 is the doorway itself. So now we've created a Roman room that has 13 anchors in it. So what are one of the things that you could do with the Roman room? Well, potentially you could use it for events like what we had before, which is the words to remember, where you could associate a Roman room anchor with an item that you want to remember. Now, it could be a random word from a word list. It could be anything from an item on your grocery list, checklist, standard operating procedure list, to-do list, anything where the order of the items is of utmost importance. So for this list, we've chosen 13 random words, and they are astronaut, tree, frying pan, athletic shoes, textbook, dog, baseball, guitar, candle, gasoline, newspaper, jacket, and symphony. So the way that the Roman room works is you're going to take the anchor, and then you're going to take the item that you want to remember. In this case, it's going to be anchor number 1 and the key word from the list number 1. And we're going to create an association or story between the two of them. And this is what really makes the system work, because if somebody has great anchors, but they're not doing the story portion of this, then the Roman rooms method doesn't unleash its full power. So the idea is to create a quick imaginative image or story that links light switch and astronaut. So I'm going to assume that the light switch is an ignition switch on a space shuttle that the astronaut is in. And I'm going to try to incorporate as much imagination or sensory data as I possibly can get into it. So I'm going to imagine that the astronaut is seated in the ship, and I'm going to imagine that the ship is vibrating, and so the astronaut is aware of feeling the vibration of the ship. The astronaut will be able to smell the fuel burning and the smoke from the ignition fuel being consumed. And the more details that I add to that story, the more potential access points I have to remembering it later on, because all I need to remember is astronaut in a spaceship, and I can remember astronaut is the first word to go with the Roman room. So the second word in the list is, the second anchor is the light fixture that's on the wall, and the second word to be remembered is tree. So the story that I'm going to make up for this one is going to be, I'm going to assume that a tree branch is protruding through the wall of the house, and that the branch is actually part of the light fixture, and that the lamp shade is actually mounted on a bulb that's resting on top of the tree branch. And so if I can remember that the fixture is actually the branch of a tree, then I'm going to remember that tree is my second word. Item 3 was the framed picture on the wall, and then the story that I'm going to associate with that one is for the word frying pan. So one of the things that I could do is I could assume that the item that is in the picture is actually a frying pan, and that I can hear the sizzle of something being cooked in the frying pan. Or maybe perhaps I can smell the aroma of whatever the food item is. Or I might change the shape of the picture to where I make the picture itself, the contour of it, into the shape of a frying pan. And so that way, when I look at the framed artwork, it's in the shape of a pan. Either one of those will work, and ultimately you get to make up your own stories. So if I was going to ask people around the room what would be the story you would make up, it wouldn't surprise me at all if I asked 5 different people and I got 5 different stories. It's one of the interesting things, because memorization a lot of times, I think, gets a bad reputation, because a lot of people think of it as brute force, just repeating the same thing over and over again and assuming that you're just going to beat it into your own memory. But actually, memory works best when you're using your creativity and you're giving yourself the opportunity to make these funny, interesting, sensory-rich stories, because the more interesting and humorous the story is and the more sensory data is involved, the more likely you are to be able to remember what the item is that you're trying to remember. I'm going to do just a couple more of these, and then we're going to finish working our way around the room, and I'll wrap up. So item 4, the item that was on the Roman room anchor was a fruit bowl. The item from the list that we were going to remember were athletic shoes. So what I'm going to do with the athletic shoes and the fruit bowl is I'm going to imagine that the athletic shoes are actually in the fruit bowl along with the fruit, and the athletic shoes smell absolutely terrible. In fact, the more gross and disgusting you make it, the more likely you are to remember it. So that's one of the ironies. That's why sometimes it's actually pretty easy to get children to enjoy doing the Roman room, because they love getting to make stories that gross people out. So imagine stinky Roman athletic shoes in your fruit bowl, and that's anchor 4 and word 4 from the Roman room. Item 5 is the potted plant. The word to remember is textbook. I'm going to assume that maybe the potted plant is seated on top of a textbook, or perhaps I could imagine that the pot itself are the covers of the book, and the leaves of the potted plant are each one pages in the textbook. We'll do just 2 more, and then I'm going to wrap up. Item 6 is the window pane, and the word to be remembered is dog. So, excuse me. So I can imagine the dog either where I'm looking through the window and I see the dog, or I might even imagine the window is open and the dog is jumping through the window, coming into the room, maybe with muddy paw prints that it's getting all over the floor. Maybe I can imagine the sound of the dog barking, and I hear that, so that I'm incorporating the sense of sound as well as the sense of sight. Maybe the dog is wet, and after the dog comes into the room, it does a little bit of a shimmy, and it shakes off the water into the room, so the room is now wet. Again, the more detail that I can add to the story and association, the more likely it is I'm going to be able to remember it later on. And the last 2 words are going to be baseball. I've got a lamp that I'm using as anchor number 7. Now I'm going to imagine that a baseball is thrown into the room, and it hits the lamp, and it breaks the lamp. So the lamp is now sitting in pieces, and it's toppled over. And I can imagine myself being angry, saying, who's the person that broke the lamp in here? You know, I needed that lamp to be able to read a book later on, but instead, now my lamp is broken and on the floor. The fact that there's a baseball in there is a giveaway. It was probably my son. And then item number 8 are books on a bookshelf, and the word to be remembered was guitar. And in this case, what I might do is I might imagine that all of the books that are on the bookshelf are books that teach you how to play guitar. Or I might imagine that the contour of the books are in the shape of the profile of a guitar, that they form maybe the exterior half of maybe an acoustic guitar, and they're shaped in that existing way. Items 9, 10, and 11 are candle, gasoline. So candle would be a candle in the vase. Gasoline, I'm going to imagine that the TV is gasoline powered. And 11 is a newspaper. I'm going to imagine that I have to plug my newspaper in order to be able to read it. So maybe it's my iPad. Items 12 and 13. 12 is a dinner jacket. And I'm going to assume that the dinner jacket is on the floor, and that in order to get into the room, I have to step on it. And I'm not real happy about making my dinner jacket get dirty like that. And I'm wondering who thought it was a good idea to use it as a doormat. And then 13 is the symphony, where I open the door and I get blasted by really loud music. So the goal of this now ought to be, if somebody was working with the Roman room and that was their 13 anchors and it was their 13 stories, what they should be able to do is now mentally walk the room. And in walking the room, they should be able to recall each one of the 13 anchors and each one of the 13 items that they were associated with each one of the anchors in the Roman room. And it's remembering those stories that ultimately will be what someone will remember in order to say, oh, yeah, that's right. The first word was astronaut. The second word was tree. The third word was frying pan, and so on. In the study that I'm doing with Princeton, Columbia, and MIT, part of what the students that I'm working with are being asked to do is they're being asked to develop 40 anchors in their Roman room, and they're being asked to memorize 40 words. And in fact, they're getting from 0 to 40 anchors, typically in 1 to 2 weeks, and they're getting to recall an average of, I would say, between 30 and 40 words, usually after practicing for about 2 to 3 weeks. So the students have, in this study, have picked up the information really well. I can tell that they're definitely practicing with the material, and they get practice drills that they do each night as part of the study to help reinforce the skill.
Okay, we're into our final event of the day. We call this the double-decker bust. And it's a skill level of how do you teach people to remember the order of things. Some of our prior mental athletes have been banned from the casinos in various locations since they don't like card counting or people that can remember the orders of cards. So it is what it is, and we'll turn this over to Karen.
Okay, so athletes, what you have before you are 2 decks of playing cards. They are the same size print through the cards. They are standard bicycle print. The deck on your left will go on top of the deck on your right. I just split them to be equal, 52 and 52. But in that first deck, you could have two aces of clubs back to back. They've been shuffled together, just separated. You have 5 minutes to memorize. Then there will be a 60-second hiatus that we allow you to set it in your memory. And then we will begin the recall. If there is a mistake in the recall, that person is immediately eliminated, and the next person needs to recall the missed card. If you do not remember what the last card was, just ask, please. And we will go back and we will revisit it again. The last one standing or sitting is crowned the winner. You do not have to name the card to win. You just need to be the last one sitting. Okay, athletes, you may begin.
All right, we have officially started the last event, double-decker cards. Each athlete, as you heard, has the same deck in the same order, but they are two decks shuffled together, 104 cards that they have to memorize in order. Now, I'm going to walk through each competitor and share what I know, because there's quite a range here. Briley, who's on your left, in the first seat, started memorizing last October after hearing about the USA Memory Championship, and I know for a fact that he uses a PAO system, person, action, object, which is pretty standard. Nelson also uses that system. What they do is they predetermine each card, so they create a system where, let's say the ace of spades is Michael Jordan. For the person, his action is slam dunking, and the object is a basketball. And then they combine three cards together. So the first card that they see, they use the person. The second card that they see, they use that person's action. And the third card that they see, they use that object to create a very unique image. So for example, it could be Michael Jordan washing a car or something like that, just to create a unique image set. And then that image is placed on a location in a memory palace. Avi Chavda in the middle there, he finished second place in 2018 when I won, and I know for a fact he can go pretty far. He took me farther in this double deck than anyone had ever taken me. I think he got to the 72nd card before finishing second place that year. So I know he's capable. I just don't know if he's trained in those last 6 years. But he uses a different system. He told me right before this event that he has a pre-made system for each card has a single image. So ace of spades might be a car or a tree for him, and he places that every time he sees the ace of spades in that order, he puts that image at a location in his memory palace and moves to the next location. So whereas Briley and Nelson have condensed three cards into one image, Avi has one image per card, so he technically needs 104 locations to store all his information in a memory palace, which is a lot. Nelson and Briley would only have, 35 or 36, if I do my math correctly, locations to store 104 cards. And Nelson here on the end, as you know, is a 5-time champion. He knows this event forwards and backwards. He trains this sort of in his sleep. Not really, but he trains with his, he's got 4 young children. They're screaming and running around, and he can train with that in the background. So he knows this event very well. I know he also used to train, sorry Nelson if I'm giving away all your secrets, but he used to train this event with 3 decks in 5 minutes, just to increase the difficulty in training. So I know he's fully capable of doing 3 decks in 5 minutes. He can do 2. His strategy is to go through, as you can see, he's flipping through the cards. He's probably on a review now. An ideal strategy is each athlete is going to go through and flip through the cards and memorize or encode the images. They're going to translate the cards into the images, placing those images on the locations in their memory palace. Then they're going to want to go through the cards as many times as possible after that to review. The more times you can review in that time, the more solid your imagery will be for recall. So Avi, it looks like he's flipping through very quickly. It looks like he's on a review, maybe his first review. But Briley, since he's a first-time competitor, I'm not sure how fast he can memorize a deck of cards. It looks like he's thumbing through more methodically. I'm not sure if he can do 104. It looks like he has all the cards in his hands, though, all 104, so it looks like he may be attempting to do all of that. But if you look over at Avi and Nelson, who are more experienced, they're flipping through, they're reviewing 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times if they have time. Since Avi hasn't trained in a few years, or I haven't seen Avi in a few years, I don't know
Your time is up.
his current speed.
Please
So it's
put
going to be
the
really
cards
interesting to find a
down.
one
Turn them
mistake.
face over. I will begin
Only one mistake, and you're
the
eliminated.
reset
So
period.
So now they have their final 60 seconds. They don't have the cards now, but they're just going through their memory palaces to make sure they have all the images correct. They're just reviewing one more time. Seeing the images one by one at each location, but they only have 60 seconds to go through 104 cards, so they have to go rather briskly. If there is a gap, if they forgot an image, it might trip them up. So you want to keep a good pace, but also making sure that you are solidifying what you have in there. So in a moment, we're going to start with Briley, Avi, Nelson. They're going to alternate and see who our next champion is.
Okay, athletes, that time period is now over. Briley, we will begin with you.
Ace of clubs.
4 of clubs.
10 of diamonds.
King of spades.
10 of hearts.
Jack of clubs.
Queen of spades.
3 of hearts.
That is incorrect.
So I have to say that card, right?
Yes, sir. Do you know the preceding card?
Tell it to me again.
Queen of spades.
6 of hearts.
4 diamonds.
That is incorrect.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a 6-time winner.
Oh, my goodness gracious. We have Nelson Dallas.
I keep going. I was a bit iffy on some of those.
Oh, Nelson, keep going. Tony, you've got the cards in front of you, so keep running it with them.
Well, Karen, take over.
Just do this one. That's the one I memorized. All right, so if we did Queen of Spades, 6 of Hearts, Ace of Spades. You got that? Okay. Then it was 3 of Clubs. Yes. King of Diamonds. Yes. Queen of Clubs. 6 of Diamonds. 10 of Hearts. 6 of Spades. Tell me the next one, because I had a gap there. King of Spades. Oh yeah, King of Spades. Ace of Spades. 10 of Spades. 9 of Hearts. 4 of Spades. 5 of Hearts. Jack of Spades. 8 of Hearts. 7 of Hearts. Queen of Hearts. 3 Diamonds. King of Hearts. 3 of Spades. Queen of Spades. 8 of Diamonds. 5 of Spades. Queen of Hearts. 8 of Diamonds. 6 of Hearts. King of Clubs. 5 of Clubs. 6 of Spades.
Oh.
No, I think you missed one. Did you? Oh, 2 diamonds. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
well,
I stand
two
corrected.
diamonds.
Damn. Okay.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. 2 diamonds.
You missed one, Karen.
No. 2 of diamonds. Jack of diamonds. Yeah. 2.
Oh, you're missing one.
2 of hearts.
Yeah.
Ace of hearts. Okay. A sore pocket there.
Wow.
Okay. Let me go.
Here's the Jack of diamonds.
Yeah. Let me go a little further. Just finish this deck. Then it was 5 of clubs, 3 of diamonds, 6 of spades, 9 of hearts, ace of diamonds, 2 of spades, king of hearts, 4 of clubs. Is it 2 of hearts? No, I don't know. Ace of hearts. Okay.
Avi, did you and Briley see how close you could have come to winning the championship? Never have I seen Nelson stumble like this.
Not my best deck, but you know that's what it was.
That's all that matters.
All right. Well, good. Come on up, Seth, please. Seth Gourson is executive from Lumosity. He's part of obviously sponsoring this. I've asked Seth to come up here with me and present Nelson his trophy. He's probably got a mantle shelf full of these. He's going to have to develop a new shelf or something. You want to say a few words?
Please, yeah. Yeah, before I hand this over to Nelson, I'm sure his hands are ready to grab hold, but you know, a lot of people are involved in making this event take place, so I just want to say a few thank yous to Tony Dottino, of course, founded this event 25 years ago, 25 years and running. Give him a round of applause, please. His kids, Karen and Michael, are working all year round to make this event a reality, which is just incredible. Thank you to Full Sail for donating so many students to capturing this event and everything that you do. Quick round of applause for them. And then, of course, to all of the competitors who put a lot of their time and effort into training their abilities and especially committing to remembering all of the long-term memory events. Give it a round of applause for all of our competitors. And of course, last but certainly not least, our 6-time champion, Nelson Dallas.
Say a few things?
It's been a while. I love these things. Actually, the very first one I have is not a seahorse. It was an eagle, which I brought out to the bars right after and broke immediately. Yeah. Well, it was on like a very fine mantle, you know? It's not my fault. But all the other ones I care for, I have all of them on a nice shelf, and this one will do nicely. You know, this one was a little different than the other ones. I feel like I'm a lot older. I don't train as much as I used to, but I definitely picked it up for this. And I have 4 kids running around. It's a different ball game. So I'm proud of myself because you know I just turned 40 and I feel like I still got a little fight. So I'm really happy with that, and I hope that encourages others to come out and compete. Doesn't matter what age you are, young or older. We all have a chance at this championship. And thank you for everybody who competed today. It was insane. I mean, just because they didn't get far, the reason they probably stumbled, I don't want to speak for them, but even me, is because I knew that they could go far, so I had to go further, right? There's that psychological game going on in terms of what you have to go through, how far you think you need to go. And same with all the other events, like knowing how many words you got to go for. We're taking into account who's there, and everybody today was insanely impressive. And there's a bright future for next year and subsequent years after that. So thank you all for watching, and yeah, happy to be there. Thank you, Tony.
Can we get Sydney up? Where is Sydney? God, she has worked her tail off for the last few days. Can I get her come up here and say some words from a Full Sail point of view? And then we want to give out some certificates of achievement. Karen, so why don't you come on up here with those, and we'll get Sydney. Sydney has worked since yesterday on this, and she has taken over a lot longer than yesterday, but she's been with us for the 4 years now that we've been here. So please, come on over and tell us what your thoughts are.
I love it. This is the 4th year that we've done this, the 3rd year that we've actually hosted it in our own court, our own domain. Each year it keeps getting better, and each year we get more and more excited and impressed. The first round was insane. So all the students are on comms, and they're talking about how crazy it was and how quickly things were happening, and it's amazing to watch. It's also amazing to set up and build. This is something that allows any of our students to add to their resume, and for places that will hire them looks really, really good. So we always look forward to it. It's great. I had some big shoes to fill, so hopefully we all made Corbett very proud. I hope so. So when Corbett watches this tomorrow, hopefully everything is really great for him. But yeah, we're always happy to do it. I'm so proud of these students. They deal with me from being happy to angry to frustrated, and they still do an outstanding job. So I'm really proud and would love to give it up for all my kiddos.
All right, and as I said to you earlier today, I'd be lost without Karen, who has just dedicated 25 years of busting her tail for this and putting all the events together in the study. So Karen, would you mind coming on up here?
Absolutely. The best way to do the analogy is I am to the Memory Championship what Sydney was to this event today, especially with Corbett not being here. So Sydney, Nelson, you can cut this out from editing. It was almost like he was here but not really here. It went off beautifully without a hitch. To the Full Sail team, I cannot thank you enough. You are wonderful, you are amazing, you are attentive, you are always where you need to be. Thank you to Seth and Lumos. The support has been fantastic, but my athletes are everything. Every year they get better. It's much more of a community, and I do this because I love my memory family. My memory family is the best. And of course, there's this amazing man who had a vision 25 years ago. And the planning gets tough, it gets grueling. I sit there, I pull my hair out saying, what was I thinking? Why did I do this? And then he and I get up here and we have a lot of fun doing this. We absolutely do. So thank you all so much for everything. We have certificates that we want to recognize those who are still here, who came out and gave up their Saturday to compete, and to the families. I cannot thank you enough for supporting your athletes. This is a fantastic community, a family. John, you came back and you were here so he could compete and he can come up here as he continues to raise that bar. Briley, you're part of the big guy club now. So there are big shoes and expectations for you to fill. This has been absolutely fantastic. And Tony, do you want to say a couple of words about November?
Yep.
And that's in here as well, so okay.
We got that in here?
Yes, those should be in here as well.
Oh.
If not, they're
not
okay.
here.
Let me go grab them off my desk.
Okay, so what's happening? This is our 25th year. The Neuroscience Department of MIT has asked us to put together a celebration of champions. And so on November 10th, we'll be up in Cambridge, Massachusetts at MIT, taking 25 years of the best people that have competed, that have accepted a personal invitation from them, and they will be competing on November 10th. The difference between having big people like MIT behind you and what we've been struggling to do here is they will be putting thousands of dollars into prize money so that the winner gets $5,000, the second place gets $3,000, and the third place person will get $2,000. So they've put a lot of publicity behind this. They're putting us into their big stage. They have put a lot of publicity out. They're thinking they're going to fill up their Kresge Auditorium with 1,000 people and observing it. And so they're looking for the best of the best. I can't thank you all enough for coming. My mental athletes are everything. They are the stars of this show. They put it on every year. And once we know we've got people coming and they commit, Karen and I just love it. And so we do everything we can to make this as enjoyable, as educational, and as meaningful to each of them. Because as I say, they're the winners in the game of life, not just for what they did here today. They've learned something that will truly change their lives and make it a whole lot better. You all have a good evening. Thank you for coming.